Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Radically Real. I am very excited to have with us today Daviana, who is in Massachusetts. And I'm super excited about this conversation. Daviana, tell everybody who you are and what you're up to.
So like you said, my name is Daviana. I am a 47, soon to be 48-year-old trans woman. I am a Marine Corps veteran. I am a parent, and I am a competitive athlete. And I've been a strength coach for 26 years
Amazing.
in a nutshell.
When did you start your social media and kind of come out as a trans woman?
So my first time coming out as a trans woman was probably back in 2020. No, wait a minute.
Okay. It's like what year is it right now?
And I first came out on Instagram, and the only reason I did that is because I started to dress like I hadn't had there's no hormones, there was nothing, but I started to dress feminine every day. And I was at the time I was the Massachusetts state representative for Strongman Incorporation. So and I was a nationally ranked competitor. Like thousands of people knew me. I go to shows all the time. So like I wanted to like be like, hey, this is me from now on. So when you see me at a strongman show, don't freak out because this is me. Like I wanted to give people a heads up instead of like just showing up and people be like, Dave, what are you doing?
So your name was Dave.
Yes, and legally for probably the next 20 days or so, it still is. It's in the
Okay.
process of changing.
Okay, that's awesome. I love that. So, when did you know that this was the route you were gonna go?
Um, I knew it was the route I was gonna go probably back in like 2020. But I honestly was paying attention a lot to like how much aggression and hate there was like within the whole trans community, like towards each other and like towards like people misusing their pronouns and just like it just looked like people that transitioned were just angry, like completely
Yeah.
angry. And I was just like, is this what's gonna happen? Like, am I gonna be that? And I was just like, no. I'm like, I can't do it. I'm like, I can't do it. And I backed out of doing it. And at
Mhm.
the time I was married and my wife at the time was very like open and like supportive. So like she allowed me to dress at home. She allowed me to like dress when like our daughter wasn't there. She allowed me to like, go to clubs and like be around other people. She came with me. Like so she was very supportive in that aspect. And then for other reasons we got divorced and then we now have 50-50 custody of our daughter. So that allowed me to like okay, 50% of the time I can dress as a woman, like all the time and not have to worry about telling my daughter, not have to, then like, so I did. And that just kind of pushed me more towards like, this is what makes me happy. Like, this me, this is my life. And, I started therapy. First therapist was a joke. Second therapist was my godsend, like the best thing ever.
Mhm.
Um, and with that, like, I realized it was time to like, okay, we need to really do this the right way. And
Yeah.
so April of 2024, I did my first hormone injection at the doctor's office and then started scheduling surgeries for 1 year after hormones, because you have to
Okay.
be on hormones for a full year in
Okay.
with my insurance, like, you have to be on hormones for a full year before they'll allow you to do any surgeries. And then, just started the process from that point forward, had my daughter involved every step of the way, so that way she would be accustomed to it, and, I ran into someone who was, like, asking me about the gym and was like, "Do you have a TikTok account?" And I'm like, "No." They're like, "You really should have a TikTok account." And I was like, "Well, I have one." I'm like, "And I have, like, a couple pictures up of, like, before surgery and after surgery." I'm like, "And that's it." He's like, "No," because like, he was asking my story, and I was telling him,
Yeah.
and I didn't know he was a TikTok manager. So he was like, he goes, "I'm a TikTok manager." I'm like, "I don't know what that is." And he's like, "You need to go tell your story on TikTok." So
Yeah.
June of last year, literally just June of 2025, I put my first post up saying, "This is me." And like, I knew so little about TikTok. I thought I only had 60 seconds. to make a video.
You're like, "This is my story. This is what happened."
So, like, everybody thought that I was, like, super nervous. Like, I'm like, "Oh my," they're like, "Oh my god, you look so nervous." I'm like, "I wasn't nervous. I was nervous that I was running out of time." Like, I thought I only had 60 seconds to say everything I wanted to say. So I jammed it all in 60 seconds and, like, posted it. And then one of my friends, one of my really good friends, she's does, like, marketing, social media marketing for the company she works for. And I told her what I did, and she was like, "All right, let me go and check it out." And this was like 20 minutes later, and she's like, "You're viral."
It
I'm like, "What do you mean
fucking
I'm
blew
viral?"
up.
She's like, "You're viral." She goes, "You have like 1,000 comments already." She goes, "It's ridiculous." She goes, "And like 20,000 views." She goes, "You just posted this?" I'm like 10 minutes ago." She goes, "You're viral." And the next morning I woke up and it was like a couple 100,000. And then the next thing you know, I think it's at like 18 point something million right now.
That the video on TikTok?
Yeah, and then I started that video, I had 250 followers, and now we have like 420 something thousand.
On TikTok, that's amazing. Oh my god. And, it's interesting because I think, you probably lived a lot of your life with, like, a little bit of fear for and not just what happens in the trans community with the how angry they and crazy it can be there, but just in your everyday life
Oh, yeah.
to sort of come out this way.
Yeah, so, like, and I didn't know this before therapy, but after therapy, now I can kinda say this and be, like, secure that this is exactly what it did and why it happened. So, like, as
Yeah.
a kid growing up, I was much smaller. So people ask me all the time when they see me, they're like, "Oh, did you, like, play football in school?" And I'm like I'm like, "In school, I was 6 feet tall, 140 pounds." And they're like, "What?" And it's
You're
like
like
I
this
was like
gangly little dude.
yeah, and, like, when I first started my transition, I was 6 feet tall, 240 pounds, and it's like, "You're so big," and it's like, "Yeah, but I wasn't." And, like, I did everything I could to be more and more masculine to try to push down this feeling, and then also, I realize now that a bully is bullying you because they're being bullied by someone else, and, like, the
Yeah.
entire time in high school, I was being bullied. So what did I do? I went and found someone else smaller to pick on and bully them because, like,
Yeah.
that's what you do, and, like, I
Yeah.
didn't really realize that, and I use that now with a lot of, the negativity that comes into, like, because I still get plenty of negative comments and,
Of
like,
course
people
you
coming into
do.
my lives, and people are always just like, "You how do you handle it so well?" I'm like, "Because I understand where it's coming from, and it doesn't really mean anything." So,
For
like,
sure.
I just let it go, I don't let it bother me, but, like, growing up with, like, the fear of being bullied even more for what I wanted to do, like, just kinda kept making me think of, like, "Alright, what can I do to, like, make myself more manly? What can I do to, like," I mean, I got into fights, I did kickboxing and, like, all sorts of other things. I threw things in the house, I was aggressive and angry and, like, a typical little boy that threw temper tantrums.
Yeah, and do you think that some of that anger came from not feeling like you could be yourself?
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, and it's like, I look back at it now and it's like, there was so many signs.
You're like, "It makes sense."
Yes, absolutely. Because, like, perfect example, like, I didn't know for the longest time and, like, that I had testosterone issues. Like, I just
Okay.
found out I had testosterone issues before having my child. So, like, getting
Okay.
involved in the sports worlds, like, and competing in sports, like, as typical athletes do, I dabbled in steroids. But going to have a child, you know full well, like, you coulda come off steroids. Like, you can't, like,
Yes,
2 of them
exactly.
are
Because it messes
mismatched
with
up.
fertility and stuff like
Yeah.
that, yeah.
So, for 8 years with my ex-wife, we tried to have kids and couldn't. Didn't know why. Like,
When it was you.
it was me. Went and got help. It was like, "Oh, you need to be on this medicine," went on this medicine, didn't get it. So, that marriage ended, started a new marriage, and my wife was like, "No, we're going to the doctors. We're getting tested the whole bit." And it came to find out my natural testosterone level was like that of a friggin' 2-year-old baby girl. Like, it almost didn't exist. And then I was like,
Okay.
"Huh, this kind of explains a lot." Because when I was a kid and I was skinny, even though I was skinny, I always had, like, puffy nipples. So it was almost
Oh,
like my body was like, "You're supposed to be a female, but, like, it's kinda, like, not quite enough there." So, like, now I look
okay.
and I'm like, "Oh." I was like, "So this is why, my estrogen was high. This is why oh, yeah, okay. Now I get it. Okay, so maybe I was meant to be this way."
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, but you must have just known for so long.
Since I was 6.
No way.
Yeah, so
That
since
is
I was 6 years
crazy.
old, I knew right off the bat that, like, I wanted to be in a different body. Like, this was not my body.
That is crazy. Now, are you glad that you waited
So happy.
to
So happy.
because, it's such a touchy subject because it's like, you see what's kinda happening to children today, and you're kinda like, "Can we just wait till they're adults so that they can have therapy and really make sure that this is what they want?" Because no one's talking about the people that are detransitioning and are miserable.
Yes. And the biggest thing is, like, people tell me, like, so for instance, obviously, like, what happened in Canada, um, somebody sent me a message, like, "What do you think about this?" And I was like, "I haven't really read into it." I was like, "How old was the shooter?" And they were like, "Oh, that they were 18, I think,
I think it was 17.
17." And then someone showed me a video of this person, like, that they posted on their social media of them sitting there with this just rocking back and forth with this maniacal laugh, like,
I saw that
for, like, 2
video, but
minutes. And I
I'm
was
gonna
like,
say, I don't think that that's him.
"Oh, okay."
'Cause if he was 17 when it happened, like the shooting, he's 17 years old, he would have been 11. Cause that video, I found it on YouTube and it was posted 6 years ago.
Yeah, yeah, they're
So
definitely
I actually
that
don't know
person
if
looked
it's
like he
him
was
or
older than 11.
not.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
person
that
was
didn't
11.
you think so?
Yeah, I think so, but who knows?
Oh, then who knows, but it was scary. That's scary.
And, like, so my thought process is this, like, I look at it like this, like, if you look at all of the issues that have happened with stuff like that with the trans community, it's always been the younger trans community. There's nobody doing this that's in their 30s, 40s, and 50s.
Yes,
It's like
yes, because they're
it's
getting the help that they need and they're really figuring out what's going on.
and inside there, their brain is more mature to handle the decisions and to handle the changes and to understand the balances and the change of hormones and stuff like that. So, like, like, people tell me all the time, like, "Oh, you still have to protect trans kids, and you yourself said that you knew when you were 6." I'm like, "Yeah, I knew when I was 6, but, like, when I was 6, I only know that I knew that because of the therapy I went through now. I can look back and be like, "Oh, that's why I felt this way." I'm like, at 6 years old, I didn't know anything. I was just, like, looking at the TV screen going, "I wanna wear that dress. I wanna be one of those girls up there dancing." I didn't know what that meant.
Yes, because
I
'cause you're
just know that that was a
6.
thought in
Yeah.
my head. That doesn't mean that I knew anything. That just means that now, looking back at it, I can be like, "Okay, this started happening in my brain when I was 6 years old." There's a difference.
And what I love about what you said is that, like, there's no way at 6 years old you could begin to comprehend those emotions and those feelings. There's no freaking way. I saw something, I think it was on Gays Against Groomers Instagram, and it came up and it was, people at a pride parade or whatever, and they were saying, "Oh, yeah, my daughter came out as trans at 18 months." Daviana, I have an 18-month-old, okay, girl? Like, I'm sorry. No, they did not. That didn't fucking happen. You're crazy. Like, are you fucking crazy?
Yeah,
Like,
so I
no.
had a woman reach out to me. She has, twins, boy and girl. Obviously not identical, but, mom's a stay-at-home mom. Uh, the kids grew up together. Dad was in the service. He was always around, but, like, at the same time, sometimes not around. And, seemed to be a pretty happy home life. But she claims that her son came out as trans at 3, and then she decided to let him start dressing as a girl at 5. And then she sent me a picture of the two of them at 9 years old looking like identical twin girls. And I just looked at her. I was like, "You really think this is the right thing to do?" And she's like, "He loves it and this, that, and the other thing." And she goes, "Now I have 2 girls." And I'm like, it's more likely that dad wasn't around as much as he could have been. And little brother decided that he wanted to look and act a lot like mom and sister to fit in. I'm like, that's
Yep.
probably more likely what happened there, as opposed to, like, like, I look at it like, whatever a kid thinks, if you push that, whatever that thought is, that's what they're gonna do.
That's what they roll with.
If you teach a kid that, like, "Oh, you're a dog," and, like, they get down and start acting like a dog, like, they'll act like a dog and they'll think it's funny and cute, but then they'll keep
If they
doing it over and over again
if they
until you
get
go,
raised by
"No."
a pack of wolves, they're gonna think they're a wolf.
Yeah. Like, I've seen it with my own daughter where she's like, "I'm a cat," and she's, like, playing and having fun with her friends, and, like, they're playing cat and owner, and they switch roles and stuff like that, and that's perfectly healthy and fine. But when she starts doing it, like, on a regular basis for no reason, and I'm like, "Hey, honey, come and do this," and she's like, "Meow," and I'm like, "No, talk to me with your normal words." She's like, "Meow, meow," and I'm like, "Knock it off."
You're
Like,
like, we're
like,
not
was
we're
over.
not going down that hole.
Yeah, but it's like, if I was the other parent that was just like, "Oh, let me respond back and, like, meow," and hand her a toothbrush, and, like, the next thing you know, she's gonna be like, "I'm a cat." And it's like,
Well, and then you have these people that are like, they want litter boxes for their children and they're identifying as cats and they're doing this. And you're just like,
do you see that state
okay.
trooper video with the guy that got pulled over and he's like, "I identify as a cat," and the way he
Yes.
handled it? I loved that video so much. I was like, "This is so great." He's like, "So what we can do is I can take your partner in and have him arrested for willing to give you a vaccine that's meant for animals.
Yeah.
Then since cats can't drive legally," he goes, "I can arrest you." He goes, "Or we can go the easy way and you can just give me your license and registration." And the guy looks over at his buddy and goes, "What do you want to do?" He goes, "Give me your freaking license, man." It's just like, yes.
And it's interesting because it's gotten out of control. It's gotten out of control. I hate how everyone has to have a fucking label. I
I
hate that
guess.
they want to call me a cis.
Yeah, I won't stand for that. People say that I even when I get a message and be like, "I'm just your regular cis woman," and like my first response is be like, "Do not call yourself that. Do not lessen yourself for anybody or any audience. You are a woman. You're not a cis woman. Period."
Well, and it's amazing to me the amount of women that like want those labels and they're like, "Oh yeah, because inclusion and blah blah." I was like, "That's very excluding. It's not inclusion, it's exclusion." And it's like, "You're a parent, so you understand this." It's like, "We made children. I made a child inside my fucking body." Like, I don't want a fucking label. I'm not a chest feeder. I'm not a fucking birthing person. Like, don't call me that shit. When I had my last baby, they asked me if I wanted a chest feed.
Would have slapped them.
In the fucking hospital, I was like, "Do not speak to me like that." Those are the words that we use now. I'm like, "Oh my
Not to me, it ain't.
god." Well,
Yeah, but like to me,
that's the
it's like,
thing is like I can't request them to not speak to me that way. I can't. You're not allowed.
oh, you certainly can. It's called freedom of speech, and that's the thing. Like so many people say that they're like, "Well, you can't do that." And like, no, actually, I can. I can say
Yeah,
whatever I want. And they're like, "Well, it offends me." I'm like, "So then you're offended." I'm like, "What you're asking me to do offends me."
exactly.
This isn't about like we're gonna take the whole world and take 99.9% of it and respect the 0.1% of it. No, it's the other way around. And I tell this to people all the time. I said, realize that I am different and I am aware that I'm different. It's my job to protect your feelings and make sure you feel comfortable. It's not the other way around because I'm the
Yep,
different one.
yep, yep,
You know, if
yep.
I walk around painted up and dressed like a clown 24/7, of course I'm going to get looks. I am a 6 foot tall, 220-pound woman without heels on. With heels on, I'm 6'4". And yes, I do my best to look pretty and I do my best to change my voice and I have been changing it. But for fuck's sake, I know I'm going to get looks. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
as a man walking around 225 to 230 pounds and really muscular and lean, I got tons of looks then. So
for
like,
sure.
put a hair on and makeup on and a dress on and like, I don't care how pretty I look, I'm still getting looks and it's okay.
They're gonna be
This is
like,
my truth.
yeah, yes, exactly. And I think that that's the biggest thing is that, if we have an opinion about this kind of stuff, it makes us, people call, us straight women, "You're a fucking bigot, you're this and you're that." I was like, "Actually, I don't feel that way about any of this. I just don't want like this shit pushed on me, and why should I? Like, what the fuck?"
Oh yeah. It's like when I talk about people will talk about nutrition with me because I'm a strength and nutrition coach. And they're like, "Oh, what's your thought process on GLP-1s?" And I'm like, "It's not good for you." I'm like, and it's the wrong thing to do. I'm like, "Just lose the weight the right way." "Oh, well, some people
Mhm.
can't." I'm like, "No, some people choose not to." I'm like, "You can." I'm like, "I've
You
worked
can.
that were 150 pounds overweight, this, that, and the other thing." And then people ask me like, "Would you ever date a big woman?" I'm like, "No." They're like, "Oh, so you're like fat phobic?" I'm like, "No, I like to date healthy women."
No, I'm just not attracted to that. Sorry.
Yeah, but it's got nothing
Like,
to do with attraction. Like I can like women that are 400 pounds, but that doesn't mean I
yeah.
want to date them. Like I have a preference. And if my preference offends you, that's your problem, not mine.
Yeah, exactly. I know.
You have to
You had
like me because I said so. No, no, sorry. That's not the way that works.
no, I don't actually. Thank you very much. You
Last
had
time I
posted
checked,
that
I'm the dominant one.
Just so that we know. You had posted that reel the other day about the tampons.
Yeah, oh, yes.
I loved it because you have that fucking Dylan Mulvaney, guy,
Yes, yes, and that's a
woman,
whole, like,
whatever.
do you remember the Saturday Night Live skit for that?
No, I didn't see it.
So, a long time ago, Saturday Night Live they were talking about, SWAS, men's SWAS stains.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
that's
yeah.
where the whole term man pon came from. It was a Saturday Night Live skit a long time ago, and, like, they're basically shoving tampons in their ass crack to protect them from having SWAS stains in the gym. It was a whole Saturday Night Live skit, so that's why I was like, "Oh my god." It's like when I saw him, like, someone it just like, I saw the video when he originally made it, but someone just reposted it, like, a little while ago of him taking them out, trying to be like, "How do you use these things?" And, "Oh, look, it's small, medium, large," and people are like, "No, that's not it." And then he explains how, like, "Oh, I didn't know, it's about the flow," and it's just like, "What are you doing?" And then I still have people in my comments that will be like, "We absolutely should carry those as trans women because when you get the god awful cry from the stall next to you in the women's room," and I'm like, don't
I
even.
did see the video that he posted, which is why he carries them. Cool. Thanks, bro. Awesome that you have one. I'm not a tampon user myself. I can't use them. I use a pad. But um I understand why, but then why are you making him a spokesperson for a feminine product like that he doesn't even know what it's like to get a period and it is awful,
But
okay? It is
have
not
you seen the
cool.
latest that he's doing?
No.
So apparently he's in some. I'm not sure if it's Broadway. He's in a musical and he's playing the role of a very, very prominent historical female role.
Okay, I feel like I did see this, but I don't think I looked too much into
Yeah.
it.
And it's like, at one point, I'm like, I think this is wrong. At the other point, I'm like, I mean, if he is like into that stuff and he has been his whole life and he scored that role because he's good, then so be it. Because, and you go, well, because if you go back in history, females way back in the day weren't allowed to act. So every female role was actually played by a male,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
when they
yeah,
did
yeah.
plays and all that stuff. So it's like, I look at it like, well, if he's that good, then good for him.
For sure.
But if they're
For
just
sure.
doing it to give him more publicity as being a woman, then no, not good.
Well, and the other thing he says or she says, I do try and respect pronouns. I am really like respectful of that what people want. But like she's always like, "Oh, my Barbie pocket or my Barbie pouch" or something talking about her vagina, and I was like, "Please don't. Why are you calling it that? My Barbie pocket or my Barbie pouch?" And I'm just like,
I never heard that.
I'll send you a video. I'll send you a video. I'm just like, bro, come on. Like, come on. A Barbie pocket? Like, stop it right now. Like, I pushed a baby out of mine. Like,
Yeah,
shut the
and
fuck up.
the only thing in his Barbie pocket is probably an actual Ken doll anyway.
Like, so fucked up. But I laughed so hard when I saw your video. I shared it. Just because you're you do not need these. You don't need these. It's like someone that has common sense. Like you just like it's interesting to me that you have that whole LGBTQ all the letters community and they're like, you guys hate trans people because you don't want Dylan Mulvaney as the spokesperson for the maxi or for the tampons. And I'm like, well, no, just because he's a man. He doesn't know what it's like to have a period. He doesn't know.
It's ridiculous. I
He
completely.
has no fucking clue what it is like. Now, I can appreciate why he wants to carry them around like that. That I understood, but it was just like
Yeah, but
shame on the
that's
company
I personally think that's just so you can have that little pat on the back. Like,
for
"Oh,
sure.
thank you so much for caring about us." Like, dude, you don't care.
I know. It's for like a lot of show.
Yeah,
And and
it's publicity stunt.
yeah, and I think, it's it's just sad to see so much hatred on that side for people having an opinion about this stuff, but I'm sure you get it too.
Oh,
Do
yeah.
you get from like because people
Oh,
are
yeah.
like, "You're not standing up for, trans people and blah 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 blah," and it's like, "No, I think you're just missing the fucking point."
Yes, absolutely. It's ridiculous, and it's like, I mean, the biggest thing that, like, I get as far as, like, negativity goes from, like, the, you know, normal people is like people like, oh, stay away from kids, stay away from school, stuff like that. And it's just like, and I just kind of look at them. I'm like, you do realize that like the percentage rate of a trans person doing anything harmful to a child, I'm like, is almost non-existent.
Mhm.
And anything
Mhm.
being done harmful to a child is at its highest by loved ones in the home and relatives
Ex
that they love.
exactly,
I'm like, so when
exactly.
you're saying this to me to stay away from your daughter, you're more likely to hurt your daughter than I am.
Yeah,
So you
yeah,
need to chill out. And it's just
yeah.
like, they just have this thing where they're like, well, everybody thinks this and it's everybody thinks that. And it's like, that's the other thing that like I want to speak up about is to make sure that people realize that all people aren't created equally,
No,
you
and
know?
I
And it's
think
like,
that
one of my
so
old friends said to me once a while ago during like all the terrorist attacks and stuff like this. And he said, unfortunately, the truth of the matter is, he goes, is that not all Muslims are terrorists. He goes, but recently, all terrorists have been Muslim. And it's the same
such
thing.
a good way to put it, such
Not
a good way to put
all
it.
trans people are bad, but unfortunately, a lot of the bad things happening lately have been coming from trans people. It's the same
And the
thing with
thing
like
is that are they
same
even
stuff.
actually trans? Maybe they're not actually trans. Maybe they're just pretending to be trans to get into the bathroom because that's happening.
Yeah, but that happens so little, it's ridiculous. And it's like people like when people say to me like, "Oh, you need to stay out of the women's room," and this, that, and the other thing. It's like, first of all, I'm the first one to tell you that I do my best to stay out of the women's room. But second of all, like I'm very respectful if I have to use it. I go and do my business and I leave. Like if you
Yes.
look at friggin' what's his name? What's
Oh
the other
god, the curly hair, Lily
yeah, that
Lily
Lily.
Tino.
Like Lily goes into the women's restroom and stands up to pee inside the stall. It's like, do you not know that there's a difference the sound makes from standing up to peeing and sitting down to peeing? That people might be like, that sounds really loud, and then turn around and look down and see your heels facing the outside of the door. Like,
Yep, yep.
sit down and pee so that way no one thinks anything.
My husband sits down to pee because he's too lazy to move the seat up and down. He's like, "I just sit and pee." He's like, "Then I never have to worry about the seat being up."
Well, like, you understand what I'm saying, right? It's like
I
just
do.
like if you want to be recognized as a woman, you need to play the role 100% as best you can.
Yeah. And I think that Lily he loves when people misgender him.
He
Loves
goes
it.
looking for it.
He lives for that. He goes looking for it. He wants people to misgender him just so that he can be like, "I have been misgendered today 387 times and and now I'm getting kicked out of this restaurant because I'm trans." It's like,
No, you're
"I
getting kicked out
don't
of the
think
restaurant because you're being a dick.
'cause you're a fucking asshole." I just drooled a little bit. Yeah, because 'cause you're a fucking asshole, bud. That's why. It's 'cause you're an
Uh,
asshole,
one of
not
the
'cause you're
things that I
trans.
one of the things I picked up from somebody online, I forget the guy's name. I don't want to misrace him and say he's black, but he looks black. He's that guy that always sits there really calm and he's like, because you're a transformer doesn't matter because you're like, and he's very matter of fact with things and he's very popular. But one of the things he says that I like that really that resonates with me is like, it's not about what you are, it's about how you are. You can be whatever you want to be. You can be a clown, you can be a trans woman, a trans man, you can be white, you can be black, you can be Hispanic, Asian. It doesn't matter. What matters is how you conduct yourself. It matters as to how you are. People judge you on how you are, not what you look like or what you try to claim to be. They judge you on
Mhm.
how you're being as a person. If you're a dick, they're not going to like you. Period.
So simple. So
If you run
simple.
around doing stupid shit, people aren't going to like you. You cause problems, people are going to think you're a troublemaker.
Yeah.
It's that simple. Like, if you do your best to be nice and be kind and be friendly and be cordial and fit in, no one's going to give a rat's ass.
No, and they treat you with kindness.
Yes.
And I think you hit the nail on the head because it's like you have those extremists, and and they're making everyone look bad. It's like you guys need to fucking calm the fuck down and stop labeling everybody. No one no one has a fucking issue with it.
Yep. So I have some friends of mine that are Islamic.
Mhm.
And they're like, all of the Islamic things you're posting and stuff like that. They're like, Islam isn't really like that. It's not dangerous. It's not this. It's not that. The Quran doesn't interpret things that way. This, that, and the other thing. And I said, look, I said, I believe you. I said, but the problem is, I said, is that the only people speaking up right now, I said, and making a scene is the extreme Islamics. I'm like, so if the nice Islamics like yourself and how you claim to be, I said, don't start speaking up. I said, no one's going to believe that Islam
No
is
one will know.
no one will know, no one
Exactly.
will care. I said, "It's the same thing as me." I said, "People think that every trans person is a pedo or is this or is that or is a mass shooter or whatever." I'm like, "But they're not." I said, "But someone has to speak up and be like, hey, we're not all like this. These are individuals acting on their own. Do not
Mhm.
judge
Mhm.
everyone like that." And
Mhm.
that's the way it is. It's.
It's crazy, and I think I don't know if you saw this. This was horrendous, but there was a man, and he did something horrendous to a 3-month-old baby, and then killed a toddler, and he was in put in prison, and then decided that he was going to identify as a woman, and they
Transferred him, and he did more dangerous stuff to the women over there. Yep, I heard about that.
so
People ask me all the time
horrendous.
and people ask me all the time, they're like, "What would you do? Like, what jail would you go to if you went to jail?" I'm like, "I wouldn't go to jail." They're like, "What do you mean you wouldn't go to jail?" I'm like, "I'm not gonna do anything to cause myself
Why
to."
would I? Yeah. What jail would I go to? Are you fucked? Like, why would I go to jail?
Not gonna do anything to go to jail. I'm like, and when it comes to like actual real trans people that get themselves in a situation that, let's say, they get wrongfully accused, I'm like, if they're a real trans person, like 100% real, I'm like, a trans man, I said, definitely can't go to a man's prison. I said, because it's a biological woman and he'll be completely and totally taken advantage of and abused in every way possible. I said, at the same time, a trans woman can't go to a man's prison either. I said, because they'll be taken advantage of and abused at a regular time. I said, unfortunately, the only answer would be solitary confinement for those people for the rest of their lives that they're in jail. I'm like, which is unfair, but it's also like the concept of like me being a trans woman and competing in sports. I'm not going to compete against women. I won't
I
do it.
know, and oh,
Well,
that one really bothers me, and
so
I
I'm
love that you're
competing
an
next
athlete, so
Saturday.
you get it.
Yeah,
Yep,
I'm
as a
competing
man,
next Saturday in powerlifting, and
as a
I'm
man.
in the men's division. Yep.
In the men's division. So and see, I love that about you because that's another thing that I've talked about, and I got a lot of hate for it, but it's like, guys, men are biologically different. They're made of their muscles are bigger, their bones are stronger, their lungs are bigger. Like they are bigger. Like that's why women's sports exist. That's the whole reason. Like there's nothing bigoted about what I'm saying. It's like that's just those are just biological facts. You're a strength trainer. You know this.
Oh yeah.
Like, come on, people. People got really upset about that. Leah Thompson? Was it Leah Thompson?
Yeah.
The swimmer, the trans
Yep.
woman swimmer?
Yeah.
It's
They've
like
all
if you
lost that
guys
title, thankfully.
well, just have your own category.
Yeah, so like the strongman corporation that I worked with, they started a trans category, um, and I'm
I
sure,
freaking love that.
and that's great. And but like you have this like locally, I know of a couple of trans women that like were upset by that, and they're upset at me because they're like, "No, I'm a woman." I'm like, "No, you're not." And
You're
it's
like,
like,
honey, no.
and
You're
it's
a
kind of like
trans
it's like
woman.
it's I look at it like this, like, but at the same time, it's like at my height and my weight, if I was to compete against women like in the strongman, they would be my weight class. And the strong women in my weight class are considered heavyweights. And a lot of them do steroids, and a lot of them can outlift me.
Yeah.
It's like, would it be unfair? I mean, it would be to those that don't take steroids, but it wouldn't be to those that do take steroids. But it's like, yeah, the
Double-edged
bottom line is
sword
it's
for
still,
sure.
yeah, the lines are blurred there. But at the same time, it's like this, like, look, there's a consequence to all your decisions in life. And you're making a decision as an adult past puberty to transition to the opposite sex. Now you can no longer do certain things the way you did them before. And you have to be able to accept that. And
Yeah.
as a trans woman, you can no longer compete against the sex that you want to be. You have to compete in the same sex you were born. And that's it. And you're not going to do as well. And you're going to have to suffer that. And people ask me all the time, they're like, well, you're not going to do as well as you did before. And it's like, I know that, but that's the beauty of powerlifting. I'm not technically competing against anybody. For me, powerlifting is about reaching a certain number on the squat, the bench, and the deadlift. So for me, I'm going to be using it as a tool to judge how my strength is now doing as a trans woman. Because the numbers, I can tell you right now, are already drastically lower. Like,
Then when you
I did a
were
powerlifting meet, like, a year or 2 before my transition, and my numbers were respectable, and now they're like, "Oh my god."
you're like,
It's
"What happened to me?"
yeah, it's terrible, and people like, "Hey, don't forget to take into account that you haven't worked out because 'cause you've been doing surgery for a year, and, like, you're not on steroids, you don't have any testosterone in your body," and it's like I'm like, "Yeah, I know," but I'm just like, "Man, those numbers are bad." Like, but I'm starting somewhere, so it's like, whatever. And
Yeah,
it's like,
but it's
that's the other
still
thing that was a big hint for me too, is like, after having our child, like, so they had to give me, what they called HCG, human chronic gonadotropin, to naturally make my body produce enough testosterone, so that way my sperm would be healthy enough to have a child, and we ended up having a child. Um, but when I was done with that, like, that was an injection every day, and it was a
mm,
lot of fluid directly into my stomach, and I was like, "Doc, like, is there something else?" And he was like, "Yeah." He goes, "We'll just put you on testosterone, 1 shot a week and you're done." I'm like, "Alright, great." So then when I decided to transition and I stopped taking testosterone, normally a lot of male to females will have to take a testosterone blocker. I don't,
well, because yours was so low
because
already.
mine is so low all on its own, like, so, like, I used to have medicated, I had a testosterone level of, like, 1,300. And a
Okay.
healthy male in their 30s should be between, like, anywhere between 7 and 12, something like that. It varies. Um, and my estrogen was at, like, 16 to 18.
Wow.
Now, naturally, my testosterone level is, like, 3 or 4,
Yeah, yeah.
which is very low. And my estrogen medicated, my estrogen is, like, up around, like, 190, which is where it should
Wow.
90, 200.
That's interesting.
But I don't have to take
So,
testosterone blockers because my body just doesn't make it and never has.
do you think, or I'm wondering, do you think that there is like a what's the how do I wanna ask this question? Do you
Just
think
ask it.
with the your testosterone being so low that that is the case for maybe a lot of trans women?
No, because every trans woman I know is on a testosterone blocker. Every single trans woman I
Interesting. I'm just wondering as if it played a role because it would make more sense if you had so much more estrogen in your body to feel more female.
I never had high estrogen. My estrogen
But
was
you had no almost no testosterone, so
correct, and it's
that
always
hormone
yep, and it's always the balance of the 2. So a lot of people don't understand that. So, like, I learned so much about hormones before transitioning because of being an athlete that used steroids and
for
because I have
sure.
coaching athletes that use steroids. So, like,
Yeah.
it's not so much about how high your testosterone level is, it's about the gap. So
Okay.
your testosterone's here and your estrogen's here. When you start to take artificial testosterone, your natural estrogen will raise because it likes to have that even gap. So if, let's say you had 2 of me, 2 identical versions of me, and one of them had a testosterone level of 100 and an estrogen level of 20, and the other one had a testosterone level of 200 and an estrogen level of 75.
Mhm.
We'll still both be able to gain as much strength and muscle mass as each other no matter what, because we still have that gap that's the same.
Okay.
The gap on this
Okay.
one was way different than the amount to gain muscle mass would be more. So it's not so much about how high your testosterone level is. As we get older, our testosterone level drops.
Yes.
Why most people get put on testosterone, because now that gap between the 2 gets smaller and smaller and smaller, which is what
Okay.
men get put on more body fat, be more tired, have more problems with erections and stuff like that. It's because the gap gets smaller. So it's not just
Interesting.
testosterone dropping, it's about the testosterone dropping and the estrogen not dropping with it. If the estrogen
Okay.
dropped with it, they'd be fine.
Because like, hormones play such a big role into, every like, your mental health, like, freaking everything, right? So when you said that you had almost no testosterone, I was like, I wonder if that's, like, a common thing because hormones play such a big role in everything, right?
Yeah, so, like, there are plenty of boys that are born and they have a problem with, so, your a boy's testicles drop out from where the ovaries would
Yeah.
be.
Yeah.
So, like, as little kids, we're built pretty much the same as babies,
Yeah.
but what happens is sometimes they don't drop. So they're given, a hormone that is actually used nowadays as something that really boosts strength and testosterone and stuff like that. They're given that hormone to help them drop. So, like,
Okay. Crazy. The
there's
body's
the
crazy.
kid so, like, if my parents would have known, to look into the fact that I had puffy nipples as a kid instead of just thinking that I stored a little extra body fat there, like, then maybe I would have been put on, like, growth hormone or testosterone as a kid or whatever, and that would have screwed everything up because going on artificial testosterone at such a young age will definitely screw you up for, like, the rest of your life.
Yeah, it can. And I guess then my next question is do you think that parents should medically intervene in childhood or wait till the person is able to make that decision like as an adult? What do you think of that?
For transitioning?
Yeah.
Yeah, no medications until over 18, and I really would say over 25.
I agree with you
The only reason I
100%.
say the only reason I say over 18 is because if you can join the military at 18, then you should be allowed to do whatever the hell you want with your life,
For sure.
period.
I always say 18, but older would be better. I say that because I believe being trans is a very real thing. It's very real, and I never want to discredit anyone with gender dysphoria at all. I never want to do that because contrary to popular belief, I'm not a fucking bigot. Um, but I just think that, like, guys, we should not be putting our children on puberty blockers and, pumping them full of hormones before would you let them get a tattoo? Like, you're not gonna let your fucking 12-year-old get a tattoo. Why are you gonna start blocking their hormones? Like,
I say that to people all the time, and, like, I actually I did a video on this probably, I think, last summer where I was like, let's say you have a 12-year-old, a 10-year-old, and an 8-year-old, and they come to you and they say they're trans. As a parent, you're saying, okay, you're going to give them whatever medical advice and help they need to transition. And then I say, okay, well, let me ask you this. Would you give your 8-year-old a weapon and tell them to go fight in the military? If the answer is no, would you let them get a tattoo? Would you let them smoke cigarettes? Would you let them drink alcohol? Would you let them drive a car? If you answered no to all of those, then why are you letting them mess with their body medically, permanently, especially chemically?
and you know
It's
what?
like,
And that's
why
what it
why
is
like
for a
like,
lot of
oh,
us.
okay,
That's the whole thing.
yeah, you have a 10-year-old, you're gonna let them medically transition. Why don't you just start shooting them up with heroin instead?
I don't mean to laugh. That's terrible, but
But you
it,
understand what I'm saying? It's
yes,
like,
I do. Yes, because I totally agree with you, and that's where I think that it's so important for trans women or trans people in general to say these things so that people understand, like, just because I think kids should wait until they're 18 doesn't mean I fucking hate trans people. It means I think they should wait until they're an adult to be able to make these life altering changes and decisions. You want to dress like a boy, you want to dress like a woman and appear more feminine, please do that, but don't put things in your body until you really fucking know what you want.
yeah. And then on that note, I don't think that they should be allowed to socially transition, in any way in school whatsoever.
Well,
You're a
and
boy,
that's the
you're
other
gonna go to
thing.
school dressed like a boy, and you're gonna use the boys' room, period. You're a girl, you're gonna go to school. I mean, girls don't have any gender affirming clothes when it comes down to it. Like, you can wear jeans and sneakers and a t-shirt like a boy can, not a big deal, And then the other thing too is that, like, so many people don't even want to recognize the fact that there's more trans men in the world than there ever was or ever will be trans women. It's ridiculous because it's like
Yeah.
people don't realize that it's like, well, how do you mean that? I'm like, well, take a look at every single lesbian couple you know. Very few of them are both feminine.
Yes, it's
Very
usually like
usually one
I
of them is wearing pants, slacks, the whole bit, haircut short, the whole day,
yeah,
100%.
like more butchy, like kind of like that. There's
It's
definitely roles. There are gender roles in that lesbian relationship.
Yep, and it's been
Yep.
that way for decades. And then the other
Yeah.
thing too is people don't realize that trans is not new. Trans is
No,
something
it's
that's been
not.
around for over 100 years.
Yes.
It's not new.
Yep.
It's just way more in the public eye now than it ever has been, but it is not new. And people want to be like, "Oh, it's a mental illness." It is, can be, but it's not. And here's what I said. I said this the other day in the last podcast that I did. Like, as far as I'm concerned, the mental illness steps in when you cannot identify comfortably that you are the biological sex you were born. When you step outside and you go, this is what I am, and you have to respect that. That is when it becomes a mental illness. When you
Mhm.
decide that you're going to be a male to female or a female to male, and you go home and say, Mom, Dad, this is what I am. This is what my new name is going to be. And if you don't respect it, peace, I'm out. This, to me, that is when you can be like, okay, you have a mental illness. You need therapy.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
I think you have people like me and people that I know that have the same thought process as me. It's not a mental illness. It's someone trying to live their true life and be respectful of other people around them. That's not a mental illness. That's just someone trying to be true to themselves and how they feel.
For sure.
That's
For sure.
and people are
And
like,
I
oh well, You have the God lovers that come in and are like, God made you in that perfect eyes, and you shouldn't fuck with that. And my first response is, do you have any tattoos? Do you put
Yeah,
fake eyelashes on?
exactly.
Do you put makeup on?
Yeah,
Because if you
yeah,
do, guess what? God made you perfectly. Why are you changing it?
yep.
Do you get
I
your
get
hair
what you're
dyed?
saying.
Is that your natural hair color? Because, like, I mean, where's the line drawn? At
Yeah,
God,
where are you gonna draw the line? Yeah, that's an interesting take because, I do look at it as a mental illness, but not in a negative light. I look at it as, your mind isn't connecting with your body properly, and the cure for this is transition. That's kind of how I looked at it, and, I see what you're saying. I totally see what you're saying. It that makes total sense. I think that I think we have a problem when it comes to people putting, puberty blockers and all these things on their children that, you're pumping your kids full of all these hormones, like, you're gonna create a mental illness when their bodies are just not ready for that shit,
yeah, absolutely.
right? Like, it makes me scared for the future.
Yep. I had a client that I trained her, and she was chemically induced on a regular basis. And she was an adult, married, and they had a daughter that got into sports. And I started training the daughter when she was like 8 years old. And then she wasn't doing as good in sports as the mom wanted her to be. And her mom used to be like a model and was like super fanatic about her being like bigger and stronger and competitive and stuff like that. And like this girl she was going to be the runt. Like she was going to be a little girl. Like that was it. There was just it was just like, but her mom was like, nope, this isn't right. So she took her to the doctor to put her on growth hormone. The doctor approved it after fighting and fighting and fighting. The doctor approved it, and like they went away, and she came back a year later, and like she was like 6 inches taller. She had more muscle tone, and I was just like, and you could see the change in her facial features, and I was just like, wow. I'm like, you're different. And she's like, yep. And like her mom was so proud and so happy. And I'm like, is she now off? Or is she like, no, she's on a permanent dose of this. And I'm like, a permanent dose? I'm like, that's kind of dangerous. I'm like, she's just going to continue to grow. I'm like, and this is not good. And she's just like, no, 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 she's fine. And she's swimming and this, that, and the other thing. And I'm like, and she was being trained by like an Olympic coach to be an Olympic swimmer. And I was just like, this isn't going to go well. Like, she's going to get drug tested and she's going to bomb out. Like, but like some people will just go to no ends to make sure that their child is in the perfect image of themselves. And when you have a lot of people today, like I had a client that was basically like, my daughter's a trans woman, and she's a woman, and just as much as you're a woman and I'm a woman. And I looked at her, I'm like, I'm not a woman. And she's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I'm not a woman. I said, I'm a trans woman. There's a difference.
Yeah,
And she's like, well,
yeah.
you know what I mean? And I'm like, no. I'm
And
like,
you're like, "Actually, I know I don't."
said, you're a woman. I said, myself and your daughter are trans women. I'm like, or if I wanted to be really politically correct, myself and your son are trans women. And she was just like, so pissed. And like, I lost that client, and I was perfectly okay with it. I said, you're part of the
Well
problem. I said,
well,
when
you
we
don't
have
want people
women
that
that
aren't
shoot back,
aligned with your truth. You don't want that. You don't want people that aren't aligned with your truth, and that's, like, that is so important, and I think, like, why is that delusion there? It's like, "But you're not a woman. You don't have a
it's
uterus. You
okay. Like, why can't it just be okay?
why can't it be okay?"
Why can't you be okay to be like happy with your truth? I'm a trans woman, period. Like, that's it. Like, that's what you want to call.
Yeah.
You don't even have to call me that. Just call me Daviana. What are you? I'm a friggin' biological male, but I'm a
Yep.
biological male that just wishes to freaking God that he was born a woman.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I can't be. So you know what? I'm gonna do whatever I can that will allow me to pass as much as possible and make me feel whole. Because it's
Yes,
about me,
exactly.
not about you. It's not about everybody else. It's about me. So
Yeah,
I'm
and
not gonna take
you draw
my
the
issue.
line. You draw that line where you're like, "But I am not a woman.
Yeah.
I'm not one."
And
Like,
I'm
and
not gonna
that's
make
why I
my
think people
issues everybody
resonate.
else's issues by saying, "You have to respect me.
Yeah.
You have to
Yep.
call me a woman." No, you don't. Do I
Yep.
like it? Do I appreciate it? Do I get, like, an extra little, like, little hitch in my giddy up, as you would say in the country? Like, do
Of
I get a little
course.
flutter? Like, when someone calls me a woman, especially the people that have known me for years and start like referring to me as she on a regular basis, oh my God, I feel so good. So good.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
do I expect that from anybody? No, I don't. Like I really don't. I like so I plow snow in the wintertime. And I've
Yeah,
been
yo, you told me. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
plowing for the same guy for years. And I've known him for ever since I was 20 years old. I've known him. So he's always known me as D or Dave. Always.
Yeah. Yeah.
He sees me 24/7 like this every time we see each other. He still calls me Dave to this point, RD, and there's no disrespect there. It doesn't bother me. I don't skip a
Yeah,
beat.
you're not like, "You need to call me Daviana, and you're not
No,
respecting
not
my
one bit.
pronouns," and blah, 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 blah.
But the secretary he works for, she's really big on it. She goes, "How do I spell your name? How do I say it? How do I pronounce it?" I'm like, "Just call me D. It's easier." She's like, "No, no, 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 no. I don't want to do that." And I'm like, "Okay, appreciate it." And like
For
she
sure.
refers to me as she, and at the same time, like him and the guys that work for him all refer to me as Dave. And I'm like, it's totally cool. Like I don't care. Like it doesn't
Yeah.
bother me. But
Yeah.
at one day, he like in the middle of like a conversation, he was talking to someone else and said she, and he was talking about me. I would be like,
You're like,
I'd be
"Oh,
so
look at
happy. I'd
this."
be like, "Oh my God, that was great. I love it."
Yeah, yeah,
I wouldn't expect that to happen every time, and, like, I don't
for
care,
sure.
you know what I mean? Like, every now and then, my girlfriend will slip up and be like, "He," and I'll be like, "You bitch."
You're like,
I'm like, "You've
"Excuse
only known
me?"
me as she. What's wrong with you?" But, like, at
So
the same time, I don't care.
so you're still attracted to women?
Oh, yeah, no, yeah, always. Yeah,
Okay.
so that's the other thing, a lot of people think that because you transition, that means your sex has changed. You're
No,
like,
definitely, I
your
don't think that,
sexuality.
I am very curious about that because I know for some trans women, they like to date men, which that's cool if that's what you want.
So,
Um,
what happens is, and I was told this, is that being on estrogen will change your mindset a little bit.
yeah, because it's their hormones, that's what they do.
Yeah,
They
and, like,
they
I'll be the first one to admit, like, people ask me all the time, like, "So, are you straight? Are you bisexual? You date women, so does that mean you're a lesbian?" And I'm like, "The fuck can I be?" I'm like, "Here's an idea." I'm like, "I'm gonna create a new label," and I have created a new label, and I have T-shirts being made and everything.
I
Fun
love it.
Fun sexual is my new label. People are like, "What the hell does that mean?" I said, "That means that I like people that are fun." I'm like, "I'm only gonna date women, like, ever. I will never be in a relationship with a man." But does that mean that, like, if me and my girlfriend are involved in, like, having fun one night and there happens to be a man in the room that and we all vibe, am I gonna, like, be like, "Oh, that's a man?" Like, no, I don't give a shit. Like,
You're open to it, you're
I'm
open to it.
open to just have fun,
Yep,
period. End of
yep.
story. Was that and people are like, "Oh, so you're pansexual." I'm like, "I'm just fucking me.
Yeah, like,
Just let me
stop
be
yeah.
me." Like, I
No,
don't
I
need to
told you what my label was, it's fun sexual.
yeah, it's like I just like, I'm just gonna do whatever I want, but, like, I'll be the first one to admit that, like, I was always a mature enough guy to be like, that's a handsome man."
Of
I could
course,
be
and my
I could
husband
look
is
at a
the
man
same,
I could
he's
look at
the
a man and be
same.
like, if I was walking with my girlfriend and she was like, "Damn," and I'd be like I'm like, "Jesus Christ, I know he's good looking, but I'm fucking standing right next to you. You gotta sit there and be
Yeah.
like this."
I know, I
But
know.
now I'll be doing the same thing. I'll be like, "Holy shit." And she's like, "I know, right?" I'm like, he was fucking hot." Like,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like, I can tell there's a little bit of a difference there than what they used to be. But at the same time, it's like, I don't want no man in my life like that. No, no, no.
Well, it's funny because we used to so I used to own a hair salon actually. For 11 years, I shut
God, I
it
can
down
still
because
see that about you.
I wanted yeah, so I owned a hair salon and in 11 years and I decided to shut it down because I really wanted to just be more present with my kids and I wanted to homeschool and all of these things. And we had to move provinces to, like, have a little bit more property and all this shit. But anyways, we had this guy, and he came and he was doing our mats. We called him the mat guy, and we called him the hot mat guy because he was so hot, like, oh my god. And I used to call him like, "Hey, hot mat guy," because he was fucking so hot. And my husband, he came in once, and hot mat guy was there, and I was like, "Babe," I was like, "This is the hot mat guy." Because I like that's what we used to call him, and he knew, but he doesn't give like, "I'm married to you, I have your children, I'm not going anywhere." Um, but yeah, we used to call him the hot Mac guy, his name was Colin, and, it was just so funny because, like, afterwards, Matt's like, "Yeah," he's like I mean, like, he's like, "No homo, but yeah, he's really good looking."
Yep.
And
Yep.
he's like, "The fucking the hottest dude." I'm like, "Man," I was like, "Can you just" whenever he would have, like, someone else deliver our mats, I'd be like, "Where's Colin?"
Yeah. It's not like we had a guy like that growing up. So when we used to have like milk delivery when I was a kid,
Okay.
like we still had a milkman like growing up.
That's
And,
I love
so
it.
the hood truck, so Hood Milk, the hood truck would show up and he would like milk, eggs, ice cream, the whole bit. He'd show
I
up
love
once a week.
that. So
And,
cool.
it's so funny to think of that because it's like, damn, I'm that old that we had a milkman. Um, But, so, like and I can now know looking back and be like, because my sisters and my mother used to drool over the guy. They were like, "Hood's here," and, like, you'd see my sisters be upstairs, like, doing
Like,
this,
you're
and
running.
my mom
Get
would, like,
ready.
put some lipstick on real quick, and I'm like, "Fuck you," like, I didn't understand it back then. I was like, "What the hell are you guys doing?" Like, and he was just, like, this nice guy to me. Like, he was probably in his mid-20s, but he wore a tank top or a t-shirt, and he was very muscular. He had long flowing black hair. Like, he had that whole Fabio thing going, like, big
Okay,
time.
okay.
And they loved him so much. It was hilarious. And now I look back and I'm like, "Oh, I get it.
Oh,
Yep."
you're like,
Yeah.
I get it now. Okay, like, okay, yeah, he was hot. Oh, that's so funny. I love that. Well, and it does. It takes. I believe it takes a good, strong man to be able to say, like, yeah, like, I'm not blind. I can tell that he's a good looking person. Like, of course I can see that. Like, my husband's very much like that. He's like, I can tell when people are ugly, and I can tell when they're not ugly. Like, it's. I have eyes. I can fucking see.
People
But
ask me all the time, like, I'll either get asked if I was a good looking man when I was a man, or people will tell me, like, "I don't understand. You were such a good looking man." And like, my ex wife used to get mad at me because we would go out somewhere, especially it was the summertime, and I was wearing like a tank top and holding like my daughter when she was a baby, and people would be like, she'd be like, "I fucking hate this." And I'm like, "What?" She goes, "Everybody's fucking staring at you." And I'm like, I didn't pay attention to it. And like, my ex wife, very fit, blonde, beautiful woman. I'm like, they're staring at you. She goes, "No, even the fucking guys are staring at you." I'm like, "Well, that's because, like, I'm abnormally sized." I'm like, but like for me, like the group of people that I worked out with, I was the small one, like 6 foot, 240 pounds and lean. I was small. I trained and worked out with guys that were like 6 foot, 6'5", that were like 300 pounds and lean. And
yeah,
like I was the runt of the litter. So
I
like
love
to
that.
go out in the normal like world and people look at me like, "Who's this big person?" I was like, "I'm not that big. Like I'm only 240. Like that's not
Well,
big."
I think when
Like,
you
"You're
see,
huge."
like, I think when you see it's very obvious that you could tell that you were a good-looking guy before this all happened because you're beautiful. You can tell, right? So, I think as women, our eyes are sort of drawn to, like, really tall, fit men with tattoos that are holding a daughter, like, it's sexy. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? It's
that
just
whole, like,
like,
look at that sexy
"Oh,
daddy.
sexy daddy."
Yes.
Yes, exactly. Well, it's so fucking true.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
so true, and
and I
I'm
still
not
use
saying
that
you have
term,
nothing
by
as
the
a
way.
woman. Sexy daddy.
No, I'm like yeah, in the bedroom, she still calls me daddy.
I love that. I
I don't
love
know why.
that.
"You want me to call you mommy?" "No, you call me daddy."
And how has the relationship changed with your daughter? And not in a bad way. I just mean, like, how is that
It
now?
actually really hasn't. So, um, if anything, she's allowed me to see, and like, I don't know how other to do this, but to actually, like, to come off like I'm bragging, but, like, it's she's allowed me to see how good I've been as a dad.
Oh,
Because
I
and I
love
say
that.
that because, like, so the baseline of my relationship with my daughter is her mother went back to work at 8 weeks old, okay? So, my daughter was strapped to my chest in a baby Bjorn 5 days a week while I went to work running the gym. She spent all of her days, 8 to 10 hours a day, asleep on my chest, me feeding her with her
Yeah,
her mom would pump, so I would feed her
yeah.
breast milk. The numerous pictures were always taken of me, like, in the office like this, passed out with her in my hands, 2 of us.
Yeah.
Like, to this day, I think that's still half the reason why, like, I'm tired at certain times because it's like my body's like, "It's nap time," and it's like, and, like, I still, like people would always tell me, like, even, like, up until last year, they'd be like, I'd be standing there doing this side to side all the time. They're like, "Why are you
Oh
swaying?" And I'm
my
like, "It's still a habit to have my daughter
Well,
in
I'll
my
do that
arms."
with the shopping
Right.
cart. I'll sway the shopping cart like it's a
Yep.
stroller, and I'll be standing there and be like, "Why am I doing this?"
Yep. It's like, there's no baby in there anymore. Plus it becomes
Muscle
like this.
memory.
Yeah, it becomes this just habit. But like we always had a tight bond where like so to be completely transparent, our marriage broke down because we were terrible communicators at what we wanted in life with each other. And when our daughter came into play, as a lot of moms do, they try to make everything about the child and they kind of forget about the relationship. It becomes like
Mhm.
back burner when it really shouldn't. And it's like in hindsight, you look at it, it's like, if we spent as much money in divorce lawyers on babysitters instead, our marriage would have been fine. And like a lot of
Yeah,
people, like when they come to me and they talk about stuff like that, I'm like, think about how much money you'll spend on a divorce lawyer. Both of you, it's going to be a lot. Like, take that money and put it into a babysitter and go focus on your relationship. Like, your kids don't need you as much as you think they do.
exactly.
Go spend time together. But, like, that being said, like, my ex-wife was the aggressor in relationships. She would chase me around the house yelling and screaming all the time. And like at night when it came to like going to bed and stuff like that, like if like I couldn't sleep because she was just like constantly going in my ear, like I'm a very peaceful person and like I can't handle someone coming at me all the time and I need a break. I'm like, I gotta stop. And my ex was like, I need a solution now. So like we had that there's two personalities that just didn't mesh. Like
Yeah, for
we
sure.
we didn't know how to make them mesh. So like it wasn't her fault, it wasn't my fault, it was our fault. You know, we didn't know how to make them mesh. We didn't seek out therapy soon enough to be like, hey, like you're an aggressor and he's not, and like you guys need to learn to have like timeouts and do this and come back to things and stuff like that. So like because of that, like it was always like if there was any arguments during the day, like it would always be me and my daughter like going off to another room. And every now and then she would follow us to the room. So like my daughter always looked at me as the protector.
Hmm.
So we always
Yeah.
have this bond. And like my daughter, she's very much has my personality where she does not like yelling. She doesn't. She hates it. My ex-wife is like that kind of like loud Italian woman.
Hmm.
So it's not always that she's yelling like in a negative way. It's that she's just loud.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that,
Yeah. The tonality of it makes a huge difference, especially with kids.
yes. So like perfect example, like my daughter fell, I want to say when she was like 2, and she like hit her lip. So like her tooth, oh, she hit her bottom lip and her tooth went into the lip and cut it open. And she like started bleeding instantly. And like my wife was like panicked, like big time panic. I'm like, and like we were at the gym and I was like, go get a cloth. And she went and got a cloth. And like I had a wet cloth right there. And I just picked it up and she was crying and I just put it on there and I just started and
You're
calmed her right
fine.
down.
You're gonna be
And
okay.
she
Yep.
came in and she started like, oh my God. I'm like, stop. Like, stop.
Like
I'm like,
fucking
we
chill.
got it. Calm down. Cause
Yep.
like, I'm like, the more you react, the more she's going to react.
Yes,
So, like,
exactly.
my relationship with my daughter now with 50-50 custody is, like, going through everything step by step. Like, I've always taught her, like, "Look, daddy will never yell at you." Like, I don't really drink that much, but I always make sure I don't have any alcohol when she's around, like, no alcohol, none,
Yep.
0.
Yep.
Um, and I drink, like, 1 or 2 drinks, like, if I go out, and that's it. And, like,
Yep.
I
I'm the
almost
same. I'm
never
the same.
drink at home.
Yep.
But, like, there's no alcohol. Her mother likes to drink wine, which is fine. Like, I don't there's no
Mhm.
issue with that whatsoever, but, like, so
For
she
sure.
sees that and she sees the difference. Like, she's very intuitive. Um,
Yeah. Well, they know, right? They
yeah,
know. They're so
and so,
smart.
like, I sit with my daughter, like, anytime that me and my daughter got into an argument with anything, I'd always be like, "Alright, you need to go to your room." Like, especially if I felt I was gonna get heated, I would be like, "You need to go to your room." And I would only let her sit there for, like, 5 minutes. And then I would go in the room and I would be like, "Hey, come here." And she'd be like she knew I was upset, so she'd be afraid to come, and I'd be like, "Get over here." And
Yeah.
she'd come
We're
over
gonna talk. We're gonna talk about this. Yep.
and give her a hug, and I'd be like, "I love you." I said, "But what happened? What went wrong?" And she would tell me, and I'd be like, "Okay." I'm like, "So can we fix this going forward?" And we would. So, like, we have this relationship of, like, there is no yelling whatsoever,
Yep. Yep.
and daddy is safe space, and I've always had that with her. Now, that being said, she always like, I had my ears pierced, and before I came out, I was already doing my nails every now and then, and, like, he would come to me and, like so I did a whole video on the story of coming out, which you can if you haven't watched it, I suggest you do.
Yeah. I'll watch it for sure.
I think I'm actually gonna go back and try to find it and re-edit it to put a caption on the top of it and
Yeah.
then
And you should pin it to your
pin it to the top.
profile.
Yeah,
Yeah. Totally. You should. You
uh,
should.
but it's a great story as to how I came out, but she was so good with it to the point where, like, we had an outfit that we wore for daddy-daughter days. We had a daddy-daughter day every week because we have, what they call a 5 and 2 split. So I have her for 5 days, her mom has her for 2, and then I have her for 2, and her mom has her for 5, and it goes back and forth.
Okay. Yep.
And the exchange is always done at school, so that way there's no confusion or anything or like that, and it works out awesome. It's a great setup.
Yeah. That's great.
But, like, so we had this outfit that we would wear, like, it was either on a Saturday or a Sunday or sometimes on a Wednesday. Like, if I'd pick her up, the Wednesday would be the first day of the week that I would have her. We would go for sushi, and, like, she would always want me in, like I had these, like, gray slacks, that had a very faint pinstripe in them, and I had this, like, pink dress shirt that she, like, adored, and, like, the specific belt and a specific pair of shoes, and, like, we were going on the weekend, it was that outfit. Like, she would go in the closet and be like, "You know what I want you to wear?" And, like, I would have to, like every time I wore it, I would have to bring it to the cleaners, and they're like, "Oh, can you pick it up in 2 weeks?" I'm like, "No, I need it in a week." Like, I
You're
have to
like, no,
have
you don't understand. This is the
yeah, like,
outfit.
this is the only outfit she wanted me in, and, like, so after I was already out to kind of fast forward a little bit, one day I was, like, cleaning out the closet and getting rid of some of the boy clothes that I don't really wear, like,
Yeah.
ever.
Totally.
And she comes in, she's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm just cleaning out the closet, honey. I'm, like, getting rid of some clothes that I don't wear anymore." She's like, "Oh, can I help?" I'm like, "Sure, she can start down there." And she, like, instinctively went straight for that outfit and pulled it off the hangers. And I was like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I was gonna save that one." She's like, "No, daddy, you don't need to dress as a boy anymore." And I was
Oh,
just like, "Are you kidding me?" And even,
yeah.
like, in the summertime, like, one of our first trips out in the public, like, before anybody at her school knew, we went to this park, and she found 2 kids that she went to school with, and I was dressed as a woman, and the kids came over, and they're like, "Daddy, look who I just found." I'm like, "Great." And, like, I knew the
You're like,
parents, and they were like, "Go
yep,
over and talk to their mom." And I was like, "Okay." And so we went over there and talked to him, and I'm like, "Hi." Like, and they're like, "It's David, right?" I'm like, "Yep." I'm like, "Any questions or anything?" Like, "No, we're fine." And the kid came over and was like, "How come your dad's dressed like a girl?" And, like, I had already explained to her why I do, and she's like, "'Cause it makes him happy and it makes him feel better, and that's it." And the other girl was like, "Okay," and they turned and walked away, and I looked at
it's
the
so
parents, and I was
simple,
like,
so
like,
simple.
"Did you just" I'm like, "What is she 18, 19, 20?" Like, that's and this is when she was 6. I was just like,
Yep,
"I can't believe she just said that," like, just
yep,
like that.
yep.
And, like, now it's like she's almost like and you don't want your kid to be your protector, but, like, last Halloween, we were driving around to try to catch up with some people, and, like, some of the roads were blocked and this, that, and the other thing, and some kids were being idiots in bikes and, like, getting in the way of traffic, and, like, this one kid, like, literally, like, came right across the front of me, and I was like, "Yo!" And he, like, looked over at me, and 'cause of my voice, he was like, "What the fuck are you anyway?" And I was like I just ignored it, and, like, literally, like, 2 minutes later, I hear in the background, "Daddy?" I'm like, "Yeah, honey." She goes, "I don't like that boy." And
Oh,
I was like and I know why she didn't like it,
of
and I was
course.
like I'm like, "I get it, honey, it's okay." I said, "Daddy doesn't like it either." I said, "But it's fine, don't worry about it." I was like, "Other people have their own issues, it's not a big deal."
Yeah,
So it's
yeah,
like,
and I think that that's huge is how you communicate that to her.
yeah, so she's, like, our relationship, I think, is gotten even stronger, if that's possible, like, you know what I
No,
mean?
I
And, like,
yeah, for sure.
after the first time of presenting as a female, like, 2 days later, she was like she came in my room, and she was like picked out a dress, picked out shoes, and was like, "Can I help you do your makeup?" And I was like, "Alright, let's go." Like, she was, like, just, like she was so much like, "Okay, this is gonna be my dad, and that's it." Like, and she was like and she had a few slip ups here and there where she was like, "I just really wish, like, my dad was a regular dad," and stuff like that, and I would just explain to her, I'm like, "Let me explain to you again why I'm doing this and, like, how it makes me feel," and, like, she sees it. She's told me, she goes, "Daddy's so much happier." And, because she saw me with her mom being miserable, and she's smart enough to realize it because she said to me, she goes, like, I want mommy and daddy back together." Even to this day, she wishes mommy and daddy were back together. She goes, "But," she goes, "I didn't like the fact that mommy and daddy yelled all the time." Like,
No,
she's smart enough at 6, 7, 8 years old to realize, like, I want my mommy and daddy to be in the same house, but I want it
exactly.
without all the bullshit,
Yep,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah,
So,
I do. So
I
you
look at
would
that
think
as
you
like a
say
very mature little girl.
yeah, and you think that, it made your relationship stronger, which is such a beautiful thing.
I think it has, yeah, because, like, I mean, the feedback I get from, like, the parents when I pick her up from school, like, they give me all sorts of feedback about, like, how she reacts when I'm there versus how she reacts when her mom's there and stuff like that, and it's night and day. And it's like, at first and to give you a little bit more thing that makes it even worse, she goes to a private Catholic school.
Okay,
So,
okay.
me being there like this is like, "What the fuck?" But
They're like, "Hi."
even the parents, like, some of the parents have come over to me, like, after, like, a few months of my transition and were, like, taking my hand, like, "Hey, like, if you're happy, I'm happy for you," like, and, like, it's cool, and, like, now a lot of them follow me.
Yeah,
Like,
that's awesome.
I think it's great, but, like and I honestly think that actually pisses off my ex-wife more than anything else.
Well, I mean, this the thing about you and one of the things that I love to talk about on this podcast is just radical authenticity. And I think that that you're exactly that.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no other like, I treat it like the same way I treated, like, my therapy. So, like, perfect example, my ex-wife and I almost got back together,
Okay.
and we went to therapy, and we had a good therapy session, and then the therapist was like, "Okay, how did we get here?" And then, like, my ex-wife started telling a story, and I was just like, "Why are you gonna say that?" I'm like, "That's not the truth." And she's like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "That's not the truth." I said, "Would you like me to go get the printouts of the email to prove it?" And in her response to that was, "I thought you got rid of those." I'm like, "So we're in therapy trying to work on ourselves, and you're not willing to tell the truth, and you basically just admitted it to the therapist that you wanna hide the truth and change the narrative to fit your narrative, not our
Yep.
narrative." But, like, when I had my therapist, like, I was just like I blurted out everything, completely and totally everything. And she looked at me and she was just like, wow. I'm like, what? She goes, I'll be honest with you. She goes, I can detect the most amount of bullshit ever from anybody. She goes, and I feel like you just completely were 100% raw. And I looked at it. I'm like, this is therapy. Like,
What am I supposed to do?
I'm so
Like,
tell you the utmost truth. Like I told her what my truth was. I told her what I thought other people's truth was. Like I'm like the whole bit. Like I was completely raw about everything. I owned up to like everything that I knew I did wrong as a husband. Like everything, laid it all on the table. I'm like, I know I did this wrong, this wrong, and this wrong. I know I did it because I felt like this, but I know no matter what I felt like, it still wasn't the right thing to do, and blah blah blah. Like the whole bit.
yeah,
And he was just like, holy shit. And I'm like, well, it's therapy. I'm like, you have to be that way. And ever since then, and ever since getting that like validation from my therapist of like, that's the way you should always be
100%.
in my transition, I'm like, I'm just going to tell it exactly like it is. And people ask me all the people like, you should be like the spokesperson for the trans community. I'm like, no, 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 no.
Yeah, no,
And
thank
people like,
you.
and some people are like, you really changed my mind about the trans world. And I'm like, no, I said, I'm changing your mind about me. I said, please keep that in mind. I said, I'm speaking on my behalf and only my behalf. I'm like,
Yeah, not everyone else's.
I know some people that are like me. I said, but I don't know every trans person. I said, and believe me, with the amount of hate that I get back from some trans people, I'm like, trust me, they're not all like me. I'm like, so please understand, I'm speaking for me and only for me.
Yeah, and I think, well, I mean, and you see a lot of you hear and see a lot of people in the LGBT community that may have some more conservative views, if you will, about the situation, and then the people that are like very radicalized and very far left are like, you hate trans people because you're not standing up for us and you're supposed to be one of us and you're a traitor and blah 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 blah. And it's just like you're getting more hate from people that, like, there's just so far from the truth of what they're saying. It's, like, such bullshit.
Yep. Oh yeah. That's one of the things that they're like, you're such a pick me. They don't like you. Trump hates your guts. And I'm like, Trump doesn't know me. I'm like, you say that like me and him are pals and like he's lying to me behind my back or something.
Yeah,
He's not my pal. He doesn't know me. Like
yeah,
he could care
exactly.
less about one individual is doing in their life. Like,
100%, and I mean, for me, I can't remember when I started following you. It was last year. It doesn't matter when, but I remember someone reposted one of your videos in their stories, and I saw it come up, and I was like, "Well, there you have it, a fucking trans person with common fucking sense."
yeah. Well, it's like
And
what's his name? What's that kid's name? The YouTuber there, Duke something.
I don't know.
That short little Italian guy that always he's like makes a living on social media by just picking on people big time. And when
Oh, I don't know who
he
that
did a
is.
duet with my video, and like at the end of my video, he's like, "So you're telling me they're not all insane?"
Yes, I did see it. I did
Yeah,
see did you share it
like
to your stories? Because I think I saw it if you shared
yes,
it.
like when people told me that, like they're like, "Oh my god, so and so like did a duet with you." I'm like, "Who's that?" They're like, "You have
Yeah.
no idea how big of a deal it is." I'm like, "No, I don't." But then, like, I kind of knew it was a big deal that when Elon Musk retweeted me, they're like,
Did he?
"Yeah, he took that video from
No
Instagram
way.
and put it
I
on his Twitter account
amazing.
and just wrote truth on it." And they're like, and people like, "You have no idea how big of a deal that is." I'm like, "Why is that a big deal?" I'm like, "Cool, yeah, it's Elon Musk." I'm like, "But why is it a big deal?" They're like, "Because he has a trans daughter that he does not even recognize. Like he like is basically like is non-communicative with her." And I'm like, so then like I went and looked and I'm like, oh, I'm like, now I understand why he did it, because like I'm admitting my biological truth and his son is being like, no, I'm a fucking girl, and that's the end of it.
Yeah,
So
and I
I'm like,
think that
I get it.
at the end of the day, that's the issue. It's like we don't hate trans people. I get that a lot. You hate the LGBT community and blah blah blah. I was like, ah, it's actually false. I actually don't feel that way at all. You can think that about me because I know my truth. Like you're saying, like, I know what's true. And I think that people like you and your voice is so, so important for this exact fucking reason.
Yeah, no, I agree. And my goal is to like everyone keeps on telling me like, how many podcasts have you done now? I'm like, I think this is 6. I'm like, and I got another one. Like I'm doing one for somebody in Australia in March, and people are like, you got to start
Awesome.
charging for this. And I'm like, yeah, I said, I think it's a little too early for that. I said, but like, I definitely want to get to the point where I can start doing public speaking. Cause like, I mean,
Yeah.
I have people. reaching out to me all the time that want me to like, I have people like, you need to come to London, you need to come to UK, you need to come here, you need to come to Canada.
You
Everyone's
should, and
like,
then you could
That's
then
great.
you could
I'm like,
start charging for that
well,
kinda shit
I said, I'd be happy to come. I said, but like, if you really think I need to be there and speak like in public somewhere, I'm like, then figure out how to set it up
and pay me for it.
and get some people that would be willing to pay like $25 a head for me to be there. So that way it can pay for my flight, pay for me to stay there. I'm like, and I don't even care if I make more than like $1,000 a trip, like me for my time. And that's it. Like, and then like when I become, if I become like more well known and I can start getting like, gigs paying like people talk about doing speaking gigs for like, oh, I make $10,000 every speaking engagement. It's like, well, that would be great. But
Yeah,
like, I'm not there, but like at the same time, like I want to be there and I want to help as many people as I can. And my DMs are so flooded
I believe it.
with people that want help. And it's like, and when I'm trying to monetize on that, and like, so as a strength coach, like in the area that I live in and the area that I coached in, you can expect to pay upwards of like $100 an hour for strength coaching. If you bought packages of like 36 sessions, I only charge $75 an hour. So I turn around and tell everybody else, I'm like, look, I can go back and forth with you in text messages like once or twice with some simple tips. So, but after that, like it's too time consuming to do text.
You have to pay me for my expertise. Yeah,
But not only that, it's like in the time it takes to go back and forth text in 2 to 3 hours, we can accomplish that in a 10-minute conversation.
yeah, totally,
So many
totally.
people don't even want to get on the phone anymore. And it's like, and then it's like, and if you want me to spend time talking with your child via Zoom, I'm like, and just give them someone they can relate to. Cause like I have literally like at first, I would say starting upwards of about probably like 4 or 5 months ago, I started actually talking to people via text message and then getting parents on Zoom and stuff like that. And I didn't think to charge of it because I wasn't really being like sought after so much. And I've talked over 20 kids out of transitioning. And I've also helped like at least I would say 30 to 40 parents understand their child and get their
Yeah,
child to understand their parents, realizing that what kind of a burden they're putting on their parents when they're changing their life and their name. And like sitting down and explaining to them like, hey, your mom and your dad spent like at least 9 months trying to figure out what they were going to name you.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like your name means a lot to them than just
yeah,
some name. And for you to
yeah,
come home one day and be like, hey, I know I'm Brian, but guess what? You're going to call me fucking Brianna from now on. And that's it. And if you don't respect that, fuck off. It's like, you don't understand what you're asking them to do. And if you've been thinking this for like 2 or 3 years, you need to give them 2 or 3 years to get used to it and understand they're going to make mistakes.
yeah, for
Having
sure.
that explanation with their child makes their child really turn and think. And like now it's like, oh my God, thank you so much. It's a happier home.
Yeah,
You know, and
yeah,
like maybe I'm not talking that child out of transition, but maybe I'm now making the parents and the child feel more comfortable being in each other's presence when things aren't going the way they want it to go.
for
Like
sure.
there's more understanding. It's like, yeah, okay, you slipped up. I understand, like, and now even now the parents would be like, oh shit, sorry, honey. And the kid would be like, it's okay, mom, I get it. You know what I mean? As opposed to like, fuck you,
Yeah,
so
"Fuck
it's
you,
like,
mom, why aren't you respecting me?" and blah, blah,
yeah,
blah. "Why
so
are
it's
you
like, when
misgendering
parents,
me?
like, when I talk to people, it's like, all right, like, if you only want one phone call, it's like $90 for an hour. If you wanna set up a phone call once a week, it's $65 an hour, and, like, people will send me DMs that are like, "I need your help, like, this is, like, life or death," and, like, this, that, and the other, like, basically put, like, this utmost importance on it, and then when I tell them it's like, "Yeah, I need $65 for an hour conversation," they're like, "Oh, never mind." Or they're like, "Oh, it's gonna take me some time to come up with that money." $65? Is $65 gonna take you a couple weeks to come up with? Like, you're hurting a lot more than, like, $65 is gonna make or break you. That's like, you're sitting in the poorhouse. Like, how are you living?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you better not have a Netflix account. Like, you know what I
I
mean?
know, right? You know what?
But it's
That
like,
actually
I have to get like, I can't keep going back and forth in text message and phone calls. Like, I can be doing other things.
no, for sure, you're right. You're absolutely right.
People see me on TikTok and Instagram, they're like, "Look at all the followers you have. You're making a killing." And it's like,
People think that, yeah,
I
it's
have no idea how little TikTok pays you. And it's like, they're like, do you make money? You make money on your lives, right? And I'm like, yes, from you guys. And they're like, what do you
yeah,
mean?
because people give you gifts, yeah,
I'm like, you give me a rose or a little heart. I said, if that cost you 10 cents, I said, I get five of it.
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
I'm like, yeah. I'm like, so when you see, like, I use roses because it's the cheapest one, it's a
Yeah,
penny. I'm like, so
yeah,
every rose that goes up there, I said, I get a half a penny. So when I put a rose goal up there of 500 roses, I'm like, that's 250 pennies. So I made $2.50.
yeah, like,
Like,
we're not talking,
it's like, "Oh, really?" I'm like, "Yeah, so, like, keep that in mind." I'm like, "I don't it's you don't make a ton of money." Like, when my first 2 videos came out and those both went virals from the likes and the shares, like, I'll be completely transparent. Right now, I'm on TikTok Live too right now, and, like, that those first 2 months, I think I made, like, $3,000 each month, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is amazing." And my TikTok manager was just like, "Yeah, you should be making, like, 10 grand a month, no problem." And after that, it just went like this.
Like, like right
I'm
down.
like, "Oh, look at that. I made $200 this month."
Oh my
So it
god.
becomes like this point where it's like I'm investing all of my time, allowing everybody to see my life to hopefully help, but there's no return. It's like, where's the return on investment? I need the return on investment to continue to do it to live. And like I honestly think that I'd be better off doing public speaking than doing a social media presence. Love you guys.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I think, you have such a strong presence on social media, so it's definitely a gateway to get you into, to doing the public speaking and stuff like that, because like I said, like, your voice, it is needed, and I think that, um, it's such a powerful message, the message that you put out there, and with humor, which is the even better. And, it's such a it's I have no doubt that you will be able to make money speaking on this topic because it's such an important topic for people to talk about.
Yeah, I think I need to start like part of me thinks I need to start showing up to like school board meetings. Like so there's a city in Maine. Somebody sent me a video of the school board meeting where basically they're now calling it bullying in school if you misgender a child. And other students are getting suspended and are expelled from school for misgendering a child. And I'm like, that's just not fair. I'm like, their own parents are going to misgender them more than the kids in school will. And like there was a recording of the school board meeting where one of the parents spoke up and he's like, "So what you're telling me is that if I raise my daughter to look at a boy and realize it's a boy, and look at a girl and realize it's a girl, and call them by he and she, and but yet they identify as the opposite, you're telling me that my daughter is going to be called a bully?" And they were like,
Yeah.
"Yes, it's done on purpose." And he's like, "How are you going to know if it's done on purpose?"
Yeah.
Like you're talking about a student that left school one day as a boy, came back the next day and said, "I'm a girl," and you expect everybody to just be like that? I'm like, and this is where I look at people, I'm like, "Do you understand like the brain of a child versus the brain of an adult?" Like the brain of adult is gonna have a hard time with this. And especially now you're talking about kids that are with other kids 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, and let's say that this is somebody in the 8th grade. So now you're asking my daughter to look at this boy who she's seen 5 days a week for 8 years as a boy, as Joseph. Now you're expecting her to not make any mistakes, calling him Jillian or Monica or whatever. And if it happens too many times, you're going to call her a bully and suspend her. Like that's not right. Not in any way
No.
is that right. It's not
Well, and
fair.
even it's like you said earlier, it's like maybe we shouldn't be socially transitioning kids until
Yeah.
they're older
People ask me
anyway.
that all the time, like, "What would you do if your daughter came to you and said this?" I would tell my daughter, like, "You can dress as a boy at home all you want. I'm never gonna call you any other name until you're of age to do so. This is what your name is, and I picked it out, and it's friggin' gorgeous, and I love it. End of story." And that's it. I'm like, "You have to draw a hard line." And people are like, "Oh, but you knew when you were 6." I'm like, "I didn't know shit." I
Yeah,
said,
but
"I
it's like
knew
you said,
something
you
was different."
knew as an adult, you realized what you were feeling at 6. You didn't know
Yeah,
at
at 6, I
6.
didn't realize what I was doing.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, like,
yeah.
there needs to be that hard line of, like, you wanna go out and dress like a girl, like, on your own time, or you wanna go out and dress like a boy and cut your hair short and, like, call yourself Joseph when it's really Marie on your own time, go right ahead. Like, that's to be dealt at home with the parents.
Yeah.
But in
Yes.
school, there is no, like there's no gender identity. There's no litter boxes in school. There's no, "I'm gonna go to the principal's bathroom because I don't feel comfortable going to the boys' bathroom." And like, no, sorry, done, over.
Yep.
Can't
Yep.
happen. It's the only way
I
it can be.
totally agree with you, but because I'm just a straight white woman, I'm not allowed to think like that. I'm just not allowed.
Uh,
And that's the world we live in.
it is the world we live in, but that's like where I look at things and I go, "Sorry, freedom of speech. I can say what I want and I can think what I want, and you can't control me. And if you don't
Well,
like it."
and that's exactly it. That's one of the reasons I speak boldly on it. I had a client, she was a school teacher, and I remember her telling me she was like a kindergarten teacher, and she told me this is in Canada. We are to assume that these children are a they them until they specify their pronouns. And I said, okay, I'm sorry. You are going to assume that my beautiful daughter, who is clearly a daughter, is a they them until she tells you that she's a she? I I'm sorry, what? You want me to what? She
Yep.
said that's what they wanted her to do. The
Mhm.
school board asked them to do that. I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Yeah, it's funny, it's like when they started requiring people to put pronouns on certain, like, companies, they would like, you need to put your pronouns on your emails and stuff like that," and, like and then you hear a lot of people that are in, like, because you have that extreme version of the trans community where they get, like, humongous, huge horns hanging out of their nose, and they dye their hair these bright colors and tattoos on their neck and
And
face.
my pronouns are Z's or Zim.
Yeah, and, like, nails, like, this long, and they're, like, living off of friggin' iced coffee and, like, bagels, and, like, they're overweight, and they're like, "I can't get a job," and it's like, "Well, look at you."
I wonder
Like
why.
but, like, if I'm hiring somebody, they're now a representation of my company. Like, if you don't like that, too bad. Like, I want a certain expectation of my company. And then on top of that, it's like when employers instinctively they did a survey on this, like, a few years ago, before there was the quote unquote demand to put pronouns on your everything in your life, employers would look at people that had preferred pronouns written on there and automatically dismiss that resume. Because the last thing they want is to deal with somebody in the office that's going to be offended 24/7 because someone
Oh,
called
it
them.
happened to me. I'll tell you a story. I won't. I'll never tell it live, so I'll tell you after we're
Yep.
off of
But
the
like
podcast.
that's the same thing
I've
for me.
had I've had a situation.
Yep.
Mhm. Yeah,
People come to me all the
because
time like, "Oh, like if I had employees working for me, I was like, and it was a trans person that was like, yeah, this is my pronouns." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not hiring you. Sorry."
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
if you look like a girl and you want pronouns of he, him, like, you're not gonna expect strangers to walk in and know your pronouns, nor am I gonna expect you to jam it down their throats. Not gonna
Well,
happen.
and then there's
And it's
that
the one
one.
thing I said about people in the trans world, like, when I told them when I came out, like, "Oh my god, you're a trans gym owner, like, that's great. You should, like, change everything and cater all the trans people." I'm like, "No, I'm not doing that."
No,
Like, I
thank you.
saying like, "Hey, look, everybody is welcome here. Like, you're all welcome." I said, "But if you walk in this door and you start demanding people call you something that you clearly are not," I'm like, "It's not gonna work. Don't bother
Yeah.
coming." And I had no
Yeah.
problem saying that vocally and verbally and online and putting it publicly, like, don't. Like, if you cause a problem about your identity, like, it ain't happening.
And that's why I think that what you're doing, how you do it, how you say it, and it's just the way that you show up is so beautiful because you stand in that truth so powerfully.
You have to. It's the only way to
Yeah.
be. You gotta
It's the
own your
only way
truth.
to be. Yeah, I'm with you. I am with you. And I think the other thing too is like it's okay for us to have different views and still get along.
Thank you. Thank you. I love that. I absolutely
Like,
love it.
I'm sorry. You and I probably have some different views, but I still think you're fucking awesome. Like, why do we have to agree on everything? Can't we just be friends because just really like each other and we enjoy a lot of the same things and maybe disagree on on a couple?
Somebody put up a post the other day that was fucking awesome. I wish I reposted it. It was in that story. It was like, imagine if as adults we could make friends like we did as kids. And it showed this woman walking into a parking lot, and this other woman walked up to her and was like, "Hey, I like your boots." And she was like, "Thanks. I like your coat." She's like, "Thanks. I can jump really high. Well, let's see." And she jumped and she goes, "That was really high." She goes, "Yeah, you want to be friends?" She's like, "Yeah." And they walked into the store together. I was like, if only it was that simple. Like, all right, cool. We can go hang out and be friends now. Like, that was like the most awesome thing I ever seen. And it's like, people ask me, like, for the longest time, are you Democrat or Republic? Did you vote Trump? Did you vote this? And I was like, finally, I put up a couple stories and I was like, all right, I'm going to answer your question. And they were like, people like, "Oh my God, please don't, please don't, please don't, please don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it." So then I put my post and I was just like, in the very beginning, I'm like, so you want to know the answer? Here's the answer. The answer is that question is the problem.
Yeah.
Well, bottom line, I said, because if I say I'm right, half of you are going to leave. If I say I'm left, the other half of you are going to leave. I'm like, which is the problem that I've always seen since the dawn of day.
100%.
I said, and because of that, and because of my time in the military, and because of how much I seen while in the military, things being reported that didn't happen or didn't happen, it was near close to what they said happened. Since the year 2000, I have told people point blank that the radical Muslims and Islamics, I said, they don't need terrorism. I said, they are going to outbreed us. That is going to be their plan. They have 6 kids per household. We have point 0.5 per household. I said, I guarantee it. And like, it's finally been on the news. I've been saying it for years, and it's finally been on the news where they're like, we outbreed you. We will take over. This will be everything. And it's like, and then like when Trump first ran for president, my family was totally all against Trump. And I haven't voted since I came out of the Marine Corps. I stopped voting. I'm like, I'm done. I'm like, I want nothing to do with it. I was like, I haven't seen a single president walk up there and been like, I'm like, the day I vote is when somebody walks up there and says, look, this side has good ideas and bad ideas. This side has good ideas and bad ideas. I want to bring good ideas together and make it work. When I see that person become a president, I'm going to vote.
You're
Until
gonna
then,
vote. You're like,
voting,
I'm not voting.
not voting. So like when Trump was going for the first presidency, my parents and my brother, they were like, fuck him. He's this, he's that. I'm like, he's going to win them. And they're
Yeah,
like, what do you mean? I'm like, he's going to win. And they're like, why would you say such a thing? I'm like, I don't support him. I'm like, not at all. I said, I support nobody. You know that. I haven't voted. I'm like, I'm
yeah,
telling you, he's going to win.
yeah.
And it was the same thing this time around when he became president. I was like, he's going to win. And like last time when he ran, I'm like, he's not going to win. I said, because they're playing something against him big time. I'm like,
Big
but he's going
time.
to win the next time around. They're like,
Yep.
no, he won't. I'm like, yes, he will. I'm like, I guarantee it. He's going to win. I'm like, if you don't think he's going to win, I said, you don't know true diehard Americans. And like you don't know it. I'm like, I'm telling you right now. I'm like, there's not going to be a single person that's like a military vet that's not going to vote for him. I'm like,
I
and then you got
and
Charlie
then
Kirk
and look at
running
the
around, like
polls.
literally
Look at the
preaching
polls.
to
Yep.
everybody about
Yep.
like getting people to open their minds. I'm like, he's going to win. I'm like, his plan is masterful. He's going
Yep.
to win.
Yep.
I'm like, they're like, so you support Trump? I'm like, no, I don't support Trump. I'm like, but I can see the obvious. It's right there. I'm like, if you guys don't think, I'm like, and like people now are like, oh my God, he sucks and he's this. I'm like, the majority voted.
People
So,
voted for it, and I think, like, we don't know what we don't know, and I think I'm Canadian. I had voted Conservative for the first time in my entire life, but I was a small business owner. I was heavily affected by the Liberal government for a lot of different reasons, and that was the first time I ever voted was this last Canadian election. Because I, like you, I'm like, I'm not gonna pick a side here. Um, but I did for the first time. But I think I look at, some of the things that Trump's doing. I agree with a lot of what he's doing. Do I agree with who he is as a person? Absolutely not. Do I agree with how things are happening? Not really. But do I see the need for it? Of course I do. Like, how can you not see it?
mhm. Oh yeah.
Like, it blows my mind that I can't think that way. Oh, that means you're MAGA. And I was like, well, actually, that's not what that means.
Yeah. So one of my close friends is like, hates Trump with a passion. And I looked her dead in the face and I said, let me ask you something. I said, just out of curiosity, I said, I'm going to ask you this something because I think it's going to prove a point. I said, because I feel like people that hate Trump no matter what. And she's like, what? I said, if Trump turned out to be the best president, like solved every fucking problem that we've had in the next 3 years that he's in office, like legitimately, like the United States became thriving. I'm like, poverty was at an all-time low, like taxes were at an all-time low. Freedom to do everything you want to do was like the best. I'm like, literally, like we're at peace with everybody. I'm like, and America was making big time money again. Like literally, like just every issue you can think about was getting better. I'm like, you'd still hate Trump, wouldn't you? And she was like, yep. And
Exactly. Because
I'm like, this is what the problem is with the world. I'm like, it's like,
it's not about policy. They're not looking at policy, and I think that that's part of the problem. They're looking at the person that they don't like.
yeah. And it's like, and I'm not saying he probably can't. It's like, that's one of the reasons why I don't vote because I don't really think it matters because I
Yeah,
don't think the president is the person that's really
he's not. Yeah, let's just
doesn't
call it
does
what it
like,
is.
you know what I
He's
mean?
not running. He's not running the show. He's not running
Yeah.
the show.
Like, I just look at it like it doesn't really matter. Like people are just gonna they get to a point where it's like, I don't like you. Or it's like, you don't do this, so therefore, like, it's so polarized. So it's like you're either Democratic and you hate everything Republican, or you're Republican and you hate everything Democrat. And then, like, to me, it's just like, that's why I don't want to be involved. And like, when people start bringing up politics, I'm like, please don't. Like, it's so annoying. Like, I'm not on board with any side. I'm like, because it's just so
Because they're all fucked.
unevenly spread and bogus. And you guys just hate so much. And like, just stop hating.
Yeah.
Like, stop hating.
Well,
It's like being a kid again, and like you're only dating a person because of what they look like.
yeah.
It's like, she's pretty, let me go after her. Oh, she's, you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah, I do.
my cousin, she's tall, 5'11", okay? Refuses to wear heels. I'm like, wear your fucking heels. Who cares? She goes, so many guys are so short and this, that, and the other thing. I'm like, who gives a fuck? But then like she'll meet a guy and she's like, he's awesome, he's this, he's that, like blah, 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 blah. She goes out with him for like 2 months or something like that. And she's like, he's just amazing. And I'm like, great, I'm so happy for you. 2 weeks
Yeah,
later,
he's
he's
not
gone.
tall enough.
Why is he gone? Well, he's only 5'10". are you serious? She goes, yeah, I'm taller than him. I'm like, you dumped a guy that you thought was fucking amazing. I said, because he's an inch shorter than you? I'm like, I don't get it. I
It's
don't
like,
get it. And it's like
I'm really short, so I don't have that problem.
my girlfriend said this to me today, I think it was, and she's gonna laugh because I'm gonna use this analogy because it's perfect. Um, so when it comes to having play partners, like people you just have sex with and that's it, and you have your fun, I don't look at body image like at all. Like it's about a vibe. So if the person like seems like they're going to be fun, like I'm in. Like, all right, let's
Yeah,
go have some fun. Like, and she
yeah,
said it today. She goes, it's not like you've had sex with a lot of really good looking people. She goes, some of the people you've had sex with, I'm kind of like, why are you having sex with that person? And I'm like, because they're fun. I'm like, it's not about what they look like. They were legitimately fun, and they wanted to have fun. I'm like,
yeah,
and if I'm not going to be in a relationship with someone, and I'm not going to like want to like stare at them every single day, like or if I'm just trying to have a good time with somebody and they're just trying to have a good time, like I want it to be a good time. And it's
yeah,
like
and that's it.
I forget what actor it was. I don't know if it was Ben Affleck. I don't think it was Ben Affleck, but somebody was talking about like their past relationship with some actress that was like a smoke show. And he was like, show me, he goes, all the best looking women in the world. He goes, and I'll show you 100 guys that are sick of fucking them because they're not worth the fucking attitude. They're not worth the bullshit. And it's the same thing. It's like we've become so polarized that nobody knows how to like to blend things together. And
Yeah,
like, forget
yeah,
like Trump is not presidential. No shit. We know that. But can he do some good things? Sure. Is he a dick about it? Sure. Like Joe Biden, like, I don't even think he was even in command ever. Like, he could barely form a sentence. You know what I mean? And like people like, oh, well, this person, that's like, I grew up in the Marine Corps. Like, in the Marine Corps, you respect your president, period, because that's your commander in chief.
yeah,
Like, that used to
exactly.
top of your food chain
Yep.
when you're in the military. So, like, I think that's kind of drilled into me where it's like that's the president. So like it is what it is. Like we got to deal with it. And it's people like, oh, we can do this and we can do that. And it's like you can't do anything. Like that
It,
that's
well,
that's who everybody voted for. So just suck it up and deal with it and make the best of it. And then like you have people that are just like, well, and everything they're doing is affecting my day to day. And it's like, how is it affecting your
why
day
are
to
you
day?
letting it affect your day to day? Like, I obviously make content around this, like the Epstein files and stuff. I make content about this stuff, but like, I sleep at night just fine.
Yeah. And it's like I tell people, I'm I'm like, do you still get the same paycheck? They're like, yep. I'm like, do you still have the same amount of time off? Yep. Do you still have the same health insurance? Yep. You able to afford your car, your home, and all that stuff? Yep. Okay. So tell me again how the president is affecting your specific day to day. It's not like just go do your shit and shut up.
You
You
know,
know?
and that's just it, and I had made a post, it's like a conspiracy theory kind of post, and I was like, "Oh, what if they were telling us the truth the whole time?" And it shows like Roseanne and Mel Gibson and Kanye and Keanu Reeves, and people are like, "They're all mega and blah blah blah," and I was like, "They may be, but they all told us the truth about what was going on.
Yeah, not a single
Doesn't
one.
matter. Doesn't matter if they're mega. I don't care who they support. They told the fucking truth.
Yep.
So can we just look at that? Why do we have to? Oh, these mega people, blah 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 blah. They're all mega, and I'm like, oh man, you guys are just missing the goddamn point. They told the truth. How about that? They told us what was going on. They're telling us the truth, and that's that. I don't care who they support. It's fine. I don't care.
Yep. And that's the same thing with like I relate that. I try to relate the concept of the because like the strongest polarization I see in the world today is political.
Of course it
But
is.
when you turn around and you start looking at the trans community, it's literally the same thing.
Yeah.
It's like going right back to like racism and
Hmm.
like when racism was so strong and it's like one trans person does this, so now everybody is like that. And it's like, no, that's not the case. And it's like look at the person as a person.
Yeah.
Look at them as an individual. Like
Yeah.
if you support ICE, that doesn't make you MAGA. If you don't support ICE, that doesn't make you not MAGA. Like
Well, and two things
if
can
you
be
support
true
the
at the
concept
same
of
time. You can support ICE and not agree with the way that the way that they're handling it.
exactly, but nobody wants to see that.
Of course not. Of
And
course
it's
not.
like
Like, I agree with I agree with ICE, but I don't think they should be shooting people. Like, it's you can have you can it's nuanced. You can feel the same thing, two totally different things about the same thing. You know what I mean? And
that's
that's the
like the battle.
problem.
So it's like there was another trans woman, Alexis Blake, who I follow and I actually like. She's really nice. But she's done like a few of my videos and she's like come on and critique things that I said and this, that, and the other thing. And it's like, she does it so that way she can get views and all that stuff. But she's very nice about it. She keeps kind of like a neutral statement on things. But like at the same time, it's kind of like, it's like she's judging me based on how she lives her life. Like,
Yeah, perception.
and then
Perception.
I have this other trans woman that like literally hates my guts and like I don't even like I don't know her, but people come in and like, when are you going to stand up to what it's like something Lexi or whatever, some I don't know, some trans woman named Lexi whatever. When are you going to stand up to all the things she says about you? She talks mad shit about you all the time, and it's I'm like I don't know her. They're like, yeah, but
Yeah.
I don't know her. They'll be like, what's your like? People ask me all the time, they're like, what's your opinion on Lily Tino? I'm like, I don't have one. They're like, how do you not have one? I'm like, because I don't know her. Like, I see what she's doing on the internet. I'm like, but I also don't because I don't pay attention to it because it doesn't affect my life. I'm like, and then the same thing with like, uh, who the hell was it? Not Lily Tino. Oh, well, yeah. When they were trying to get Lily Tino banned from Instagram. They were like signing a petition. They're like, are you going to sign the petition? I'm like, no. They're like, why not? I'm like,
I don't care. Because I don't
because
care.
who would be to tell people they can't be on Instagram? They're like, well, she's doing this and she took pictures in the bathroom and this, that, and the other thing. I said, if she was doing anything against Instagram rules and regulations, I said Instagram would have kicked her off. I'm like, but she didn't. I'm like, so I'm not going to sign a petition to kick somebody off of a public venue. I'm like, that I don't have the right to. And people would get mad at me for that. And I'm like, just like, I don't know them. And the same thing with this girl, Lexi, that they're like, oh, you got to stand. I'm like, I don't have to stand up to her. I'm like, why? Like, why would I need to stand up to her? I'm like,
Well,
I don't
and the thing is
like
like
her life and
you're
what she says about me does not affect me in any way.
well, and it's something I've always said to people. I do a lot of business coaching and mentoring, and something I always say to people when it comes to like branding yourself or whatever the case is people are going to love you and hate you for the exact same reason.
Yes,
People are going
exactly.
to love everything that you stand for, that you're outspoken about it, that you stand in your truth, and blah blah blah. Like, and some people are going to fucking hate that about you.
Yep. There's nothing you can do about it.
Nothing you can do about it. Nothing you can do about it. Stand in that truth, be yourself, and that's it.
I
That's it.
don't.
Oh, you have a dog? I have cats.
Yeah.
They just haven't made an appearance yet, but normally one of them I have hairless cats, and they'll every once in a while, one will, like, jump up on the back of the chair, and people will be like, "Oh." I'm like, "Yeah, sometimes the cats make an appearance in my podcasts." But,
Hairless cat.
yeah, I think that, people need to understand, especially if they want to be seen, is that people are gonna love you and hate you for the exact same reasons. You just need to show up fully as you are, 100% in that truth, and that's just it.
Yep. I agree.
Period. Like, there's just no there's you can't make everyone happy.
No. Like, and I forget who it was that said it. Someone said it like forever ago about the concept of like you know you're doing the right thing when you have people that literally hate what you're doing.
Yeah, yeah. I just recently, like, gained, I think, almost 7,000 followers on Instagram really quickly, but I lost, like, 3,000. So it's like, um, the people that are aligned and meant to hear what you have to say will show up, and the people that aren't meant to will disappear.
Yeah, and that's fine.
Yeah, and that's
That's
fine.
totally fine. Yep.
Yeah. You're
To me, it's
you're
just
doing
like
something right.
yeah. So I've had some people that message me privately, and they're like, I can't believe you posted this. Like a complete hard pass. Like now that I realize that you are what you say you aren't, and this, that, and the other thing, and it's always some political thing. And they're like, I can't believe you do this. And I'm like, what did I do? And they're like, you did this, so that means this. I'm like, no. I said it doesn't. It means this. And I'll like I'll literally explain it to them, and they'll be like, oh, I'm like, yeah. I'm like, if you don't just jump to a conclusion that you just automatically gonna think that, well, if someone says this, that means they're this way, so that's it, I'm done with them. And it's like, it
There's
doesn't mean
people that I follow where I'm like, "Nah, I don't really think that way, but I still like you," you know?
yeah.
I had someone
Like
made a comment the
I
other day.
follow Andrew Tate, very popular guy. Follow
Yeah,
Andrew Tate. There's plenty of stuff he says that I fucking love, and there's plenty of stuff he says that I hate. And
same. I don't
just
follow him,
actually
but
put up a
same.
story. I
Yeah,
just actually put up a
I
story
saw.
about one of the things he did, and someone
Yeah,
said, like, he literally had his own ring of slaves and this, that, and the other thing. I said, that's great. I said, because that doesn't matter to what I just posted. I said, because what I just posted, I said, he's never spoken truer words than that. And they were like, yeah, but I'm like, see what you
but
just said
he's
there?
also
I
told the
said,
truth
yeah,
about the
but
world we live in. He has spoken very openly about things that have happened in the elite type world.
oh, yeah,
And there are people that believe this is a conspiracy, but lately conspiracies are coming true, guys. That he was set up, that he was framed.
Oh,
because
yeah, but either way, like,
he was saying shit about what they were doing.
but either way, it does, like, what the point of, like, what I was saying to the person that, like, said that, I said, "Look," I said, "What you believe about this person doesn't matter because what I posted was
I
about
agree with.
something they said."
Yes,
I'm
yes,
like,
that
"It's
you
something
agree
that they just,"
with.
I said, "should resonate with you." I said, "And you should believe it is true." Like, everybody could believe what he just said is true. I was like, "But you just wanna be like, I'm not gonna pay attention to that truth because I don't like them because of this." And I was
Well,
like,
that's just it. Someone
"That's the
announced that they
biggest
were
ignorant
unfollowing me because
thing."
I follow Trump. Yeah, yeah, it's stupid. I know.
Yeah, it's so
I'm girl, I'm with you. Like, it it's so annoying. The person, he was like, "Oh my god, you follow Trump. I'm unfollowing you." I was like, "Okay, bye." Like, cool. Like, in order to have an opinion about anything, you have to have access to the source. So, yeah, I follow him. Of course I do. He's a politician. Like, yep, I follow him. Doesn't mean
yeah.
I agree with everything that he does. Like,
The
shut
other
the
thing
fuck
I
up.
like, so I figured me competing in this powerlifting meet next Sunday would be a pretty big deal. So I reached out to the Boston Globe magazine, which is like the Boston magazine, sent them a very nice email, and I got an immediate response from the editor. I included like all of their top newsroom staff in the email, and she's like, "I'm going to forward this over to the sports editor. You know, good luck on your journey. This, that, and the other thing." So I mean, obviously, I haven't heard anything yet because like it's Saturday and I don't expect to hear anything until like Monday or Tuesday past that email. But like I also reached out to like a women's fitness magazine, a men's health magazine. And then there's this, have you heard that? Have you seen that new, like, I don't know if it's a company or like the former thing. They're called XXXY.
Mm,
So it's a bunch of women that created a company that's basically all about keeping men, trans women out of men's sports, out of
okay.
women's sports. So like I reached out to them, sent them an email. Like I'm like, look, I would really like to talk to you guys. I want to go on board with you guys. Like I'm a trans woman, this, that, and the other thing. Nothing. No response. I sent the same email, like not same, but like readjusted the email to a bunch of different other magazines and nothing. And I'm like, I said,
Wild.
this goes to prove one thing that nobody wants to report on anything good.
Yeah, they want chaos.
Someone just said, like, people love to hate, and they do. It's like, until people start realizing that there's good in the fucking world and start focusing on the good, we're
What
never
a
gonna be,
concept.
but
What a
everybody wants to just
concept.
keep talking about it's like Denzel, was it Denzel Washington? No, it wasn't Denzel Washington. Who's, Morgan Freeman.
Mhm.
Morgan Freeman did an interview years ago with I don't remember this guy, but I know he's Jewish because they brought up his religion in the interview. And he's like, what do you think about Black History Month? And he goes, I don't want a Black History Month. And he goes, well, how do you want to celebrate Black history? He goes, Black history is history. He goes, it's just history. He goes, it doesn't matter what color. He goes, history is history. He goes, no matter what color it is. And he's like, do you want a White History Month? He goes, well, I'm not white. And he's like, what are you? He goes, I'm Jewish. He goes, well, do you want a Jewish History Month? He goes, no. He goes, why not? He goes, well, I don't know. I don't. He's like, okay. He goes, well, I don't want a Black History Month. He said, well, then how are we going to like identify racism and talk about it? He
Stop
goes,
talking about it, he said.
he said, stop talking about it. He was like, the
Yes, I
more we talk
love
about
this because I talked about this on a podcast not that long ago. Stop talking about it.
yep. And
Yep,
it's like
I
so many
girl, I
people
am
that
so with you on that.
I've had a lot of like younger Black, student athletes come into my gym. And when anytime like Black history comes up and they start mentioning slavery and stuff like that, I look them dead in the face and I'm like, you do realize that there was more white slaves than there ever was Black. I said, more Jewish slaves, more Italian slaves, more especially Sicilians. I said, you do realize the first Black slave owner, I said, was Black.
It was black.
And they're like, no fucking way. And I'm like, go do your history. And I give them like, it was John Anderson, right? Was his name, I think.
I don't know.
I don't know, but I was like, go look it up. And they go, and then they go and they come back and they're like, I can't fucking, like, how come we didn't learn this in school? I'm like, because they don't want you to learn it. I'm like, you do realize that it was the white people that got you out of slavery. I
And they
said, it
teach
was
it
the
so
Black man
young.
that literally, like, basically when they got a slave, they said, we own you for life. I said, but slavery started, it was supposed to be a 5 to 7 year term. I said, and it was a Black man that sued a white farmer for telling a Black man that was being a slave for like 20 some odd years. He's like, just leave.
Yep.
And he left. And the
Yep.
farmer sued him and they let him get sued. I'm like, you don't understand. I'm like, and it's like, you guys, they don't teach you the right history. It's like, and that's when people think like, oh, there's so much, like my brother used to say it all the time. He goes, oh, there's so much racism and we need DEI and we need this and we need that. I'm like, no, we don't. I said, what we need
Stop
is
teaching it. Stop
we
talking
need to
about
stop
it.
teaching it. I said, but not only that, I said, but we need to have resumes. I said that can go in without a name, without an age, and without a
Yeah.
sex.
Yeah,
I said, we need people to be hired 100% based on their worth and their value to the job. I'm like,
exactly.
that's it.
Yeah,
I'm like,
exactly.
the best explanation I ever saw for it was the one about the pilots.
Yeah.
Have you seen that one?
Yes, yes, I
When
did.
like, so we have pilots, and in order to get a pilot, 100 people take the test, and the top 95% are allowed to become pilots. They get hired. But what happens is with DEI, if your top 5% of pilots, if there's not 3 of them that are black, they keep going down the line. And let's say someone who was black, the highest they scored was an 80. And then the next highest black person that scored was a 75. And the next highest black person that scored just barely passed the flight exam. They're going to become pilots before the top 90% are going to become pilots
Yeah,
simply because of DEI.
yeah,
It's like, this is not right. Like,
I
so
know.
this is why, like, the concept of age, gender, and race needs to be eliminated and give, like, resume should be a fucking number. Applicant number is 5677893
Yeah,
has
yeah, yeah,
that qualification, that qualification.
totally.
Great. They're hired.
So simple.
You're like, okay, you're hired. This is you. Great. Nice to meet you. Your name is this, blah, blah, blah. You're hired. End of story.
And that's the thing is we should be basing things on merit,
Yep.
not on
When I came back from the Marine
race.
Corps, I tried to become a police officer in my hometown. Okay. As a veteran, you get veterans preference. And then in your hometown, you get residency preference. I scored a 98% on the police exam. You know how many people were ahead of me to get hired? Spanish, black, and women were all ahead of me. And not a single one of those people ahead of me scored higher than 98. Not a single one. But I
That is
couldn't get hired.
crazy. I recently had a very similar thing happen. I wasn't trying to be a cop, but I was just trying to get some work. And here in Canada, what the government has done is if you hire an immigrant, the government pays for a chunk of their wage. So the businesses are all hiring immigrants because number one, their wage gets covered. So it's a strategic business move if you're looking at it from a
Yeah.
business
It's
point.
free
But
employment.
it's not really good for Canadians that are just white people that are trying to get a job because I couldn't get a job. So then you go to Home Depot and no one speaks fucking English. Like you go to Walmart, no one speaks English. They don't know where anything is. They don't even know what you're talking about because they don't speak English. And it's not people are like, oh, that's racist. And I'm like, well, it's not. I was like, they're getting hired because they're immigrants. That's why, because the government's paying for 50% of the wage. They're not getting hired because they're the best at that job. I would have been way better at that job, period. Like, I just would have been. And it's the same fucking thing.
Yeah. And it's the same thing on a job application when it comes to like you take it and you revert that right back into the trans community and you're like, okay, we're gonna take this person and we're gonna hire them based on everything that's on their their resume. But now the downside to that is you get someone that shows up and it's like, oh, well, I have a medical history of this and I need X amount of time off. Oh, I'm also a trans person and I demand this pronoun, that pronoun, and that pronoun. And it's like, okay, now you're going to be a problem in the office. You know what I mean? And then
Yes, I
you
do.
get the
Yes, I
whole,
do firsthand.
yeah, and then you get the whole concept of like, all right, if you fire me, you're firing me because of this reason. You know, and like I've seen so many trans people complain that they lost their job because they're trans, and it's like,
And then you
no, you
get sued.
lost your job because one, you're 400 pounds overweight. You probably smell. You have a nose ring that's like the size of a bullhorn hanging out of your nose.
Or you
You
call in
little
sick all the time
intimidate.
and you don't
Yeah,
come to
you're
work
little
ready to
intimidate
work.
people. And it's
Yeah.
like, I forgot there was a video of some trans woman going like, I basically shouldn't have to work. And she was like so big, she was resting her arms on her chest like this. She's like, I shouldn't have to work. I should be able to be paid to be stayed home. I have a disability. And I'm like, the fuck is your
One
disability?
that you gave yourself.
It's just, and like, we can't have these conversations because people will get offended.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
it's like, there's a comedian out there. I forget what his name is, but I want to say he's Canadian. He's a thin white guy, long black hair. And he's like, he talks about offended. He goes, everybody's talking about getting offended. He goes, so what happens if you get offended? He goes, you get offended. So what? You move on. He goes, what difference does it make? He goes, nothing happens when you get offended. Nothing.
Nothing.
You're offended. So what? Bye. Move on.
Yeah. Next, please.
And I had so many people like compliment me on my stand up, which I think needs a lot of work. One of the I made a joke like my second time in about like the way people come in and give me shit about like, you need to find God, you need to find God, you need to find God. And it'd be the same person saying it over and over again. And I would look at them. I said, you know, You know how you think it's annoying when a trans person goes, I'm a woman, 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 and you get annoyed by that? I said, you're doing the same thing, and you just think
Literally
it's
doing the
okay
same
because
thing.
you're
Mhm.
talking about God.
Yeah.
And like, I made a joke about that. So then, like, the next day, I had a woman came into my DMs and was like, I like your comedy and stuff like that, but I really think that it's distasteful that you had jokes about like God. And I'm like, really? I'm like, here we go. I'm like, you can't even be like, you can't be like, I feel like every comedian needs to like come on the stage and be like, "Hey, so I'm a comedian, and that means I'm going to tell jokes."
Yeah. Oh, you're
And
not allowed
some
to have that's
jokes,
not allowed that's
jokes
not
have
allowed to be
reality to
funny.
them, and they're funny.
You're not
And
allowed to be funny. What are you talking about? You're not allowed to make
no,
jokes
it's
about
like,
fucking anything.
oh yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's ridiculous, absolutely
I
ridiculous.
I totally feel you. I am with you on all of the topics. I agree with you. I think your voice is powerful, like I said. And I think you're gonna do amazing things in this world. I really truly do.
Thank you, appreciate
You're
that.
welcome.
Maybe like way off topic there, but that's okay.
That's the point of this podcast is people are like, so what do you want to talk about? I'm like, anything where the conversation goes, it goes. And I think that's when I started this podcast, one of my main goals is connect with like-minded people and talk about really anything. And I do like talking about this topic specifically just because of what's happening to children and stuff like that. And, they're getting putting on these drugs and blah, blah, blah. But I think that more people need to be open to having these types of conversations.
So I'm laughing right now because I just happened to look up at my screen, and someone's like, "How can you claim to be trans and have these views?" I'm like, "Oh God, here we go."
Oh God, I'm sure I've been called all kinds of things during your live there. I don't care. It here's the thing is that like you and I have talked for over 2 hours now. The conversation's been flowing. We know how to speak to each other. People tell me that I hate trans people all the time. So if I hate trans people so much, how the fuck am I sitting here with you for 2 hours having the best conversation and having a great time?
It's
How do
ridiculous.
I'm sorry, how I hate trans people? Oh, okay. Yeah, if I hate trans people so much, I'm just gonna be like, hey girl, you wanna come on my podcast? I'm respecting your fucking pronouns. I like how do I hate trans people? Please fucking tell me. Tell me
Yeah, the
how.
bottom line is like I tell people this. I'm like, first of all, I hate everybody equally. I'm like,
Yeah.
and second of all, like I don't hate any one individual. Like
Yeah.
I don't hate Trump. I don't hate Biden. I don't hate Kamala. I hate people based on how they show up. And
Yes.
it's not even hate, it's dislike. Like I don't
Yeah.
really hate anybody.
Yeah.
Like this person that everybody's talking about, this person Lexi that like talks a bunch of crap at me. I'm like, I don't. They're like, you should hate her. I'm like, why should I hate her? I'm like, I don't know her. I'm like, why would
You
I
don't
know her?
have to hate
Oh, she
anybody.
talks all this
Yeah.
crap. I'm like, I don't care. I'm like, and do me a favor, stop telling me because you're just wasting time. Like, go
Yeah.
away.
Yeah.
Like,
You're like,
if you
I
want to
do
come
not
here
give a shit.
and listen to me, then like, that's fine. Like, that's good. Let's talk. Let's have a conversation. I'm like, but I don't want to hear about like, oh, this person makes fun of you and that person. I'm like, I'm sure they're not the only person that makes fun of me. I'm sure there's millions of people out there that make fun of me. And if I wasted my time thinking about those people, as a matter of fact, this is a perfect topic to bring up is about my transition. Okay. I used to go out in public 24/7, constantly worried about who was looking at me, constantly. I would be like this the whole time, walking around being like trying, like, how do you hide 6 foot fucking five 204 pounds with a dress on? You don't. Like, how do you hide that? Like, wow, you're a fucking big bit. Like, you can't hide it. But I was trying to hide it. And every time I was out with friends or whatever, and my friends were like I would go crazy trying to find like the perfect outfit, like to be like is like to hide things or to be as feminine as possible or whatever. Like I'd go crazy. I'd be late for everything because I was never satisfied enough. I always spent my time looking at others, looking at me, and being worried, who's looking at me.
And that's
And
just
when
not
I
a way to live.
realized that one, you can't live your life that way,
No.
and two, the more time you spend seeing who's looking at you, when people do look around, because people do look around, they're going to notice you looking in their direction. And now they are staring at you because now it's like, oh, the fuck is that? And it's like, it, I wasn't able to be comfortable in my own skin until I realized that I need to just be me
And be comfortable.
unapologetically and be
Yes.
authentic and just show up. And like, do I try to work on my voice when I'm in public? Yes. Do I forget every now and then? Like when I start talking fast, it's like it goes right out the window. It's like But people like, "Oh my god, your voice is so deep." And I'm like, "No, actually, my voice is actually much softer now than what it used to be." And people are like, "Oh, can you do my deep voice?" And I'm like, "My deep voice is like this. Like this is
Yeah.
my holy shit, that's your voice?" I'm like, "Yes, this is my voice." They're like, "Oh." I'm like, "See the difference?"
Yeah,
And they're like, "Oh
totally.
yeah." I'm like, and now if I really try hard, I can make my voice even softer and nicer, but like it requires me to slow down and be patient. And when I'm trying
And
to
you don't
just
need
be
to do that.
myself, I don't want
Mhm.
to slow down and be patient. I want to just go,
No,
go, go. And like
100%.
the more I work on it, the more it is softer and softer. And like, so like that's it. But like the biggest thing that like, it's like a tough thing because it's like people know that I'm inspiring people to be their authentic selves. And I think that's great. The one thing I don't think is great when I have people that are messaging me and being like, "Oh my god, I'm like, I'm so glad, like you make me feel so much better about just being who I am." And then I look at them, look at their profile, and I say, "Oh, I'm so glad. I'm happy you're doing that." And I look at that profile and they're like 400 pounds. And I'm like, "Oh," I'm like, "No, no, no, don't be yourself. Like you need to get healthier. You need to improve your life. Like
Like, take care of
so at
yourself
risk for
and
so many health problems. Like, you know, it's like, I'm inspiring you to be true and happy in your body, but like at the same time, like I'm looking at this person
but I'm
going,
also telling you to take care of that body.
yeah, it's like, and like now I got to figure out like, all right, how do I twist this around so people aren't
To
killing
try and
themselves
actually help
with
them.
fast
Yeah, yeah.
food and like, you know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah, I do,
Just like,
I do.
like please,
I
like I'm
think
so
that
happy that you're happy with yourself, but please do me a favor and start treating yourself better. Like try to love yourself enough to do better.
to have a salad no, I'm just kidding.
No, no, it's not even about salad. Like
I'm
people
just
say
kidding, I'm just
salad.
kidding, I'm just kidding. Just eat some vegetables instead. No. I'm just kidding, I'm just kidding. I
Ugh.
know what you're saying, I know what you're saying, but I think, with that, this is a beautiful place to wrap up because at the end of the day, you're so much happier when you're 100% unapologetically yourself, and you're gonna piss people off.
Yep.
Trust
And I'm
us,
happy about it.
we know, trust us. But at the end
Yep.
of the day, there's no better place to be, and I think I'm 44, well, I'm gonna be 44 next Wednesday, but, I think in your
Really?
f yeah, yeah,
Birthdays are
40
like so close together.
yeah, yeah. When's your birthday?
I haven't told anybody yet.
You can tell me after we hang up. Anyways, I think you get to a level in your 40s where you just don't give a flying fuck about much.
I honestly don't think it has so much to do with age as much as I think it has to do with like what you've gone through in
Well,
life. You get
wisdom, for sure.
like people ask me all the time, like, when did you determine that you were gonna like start experimenting more and stuff like that? And I'm like, I hit like 30 and I was like, you know what? I'm not saying no to anything until I've tried it 3 times. I'm like, and then I know it's a definite no. And they're like anything, I'm like anything. So like when people ask me like about my sexuality and stuff like that, and like something will like kind of like ease out or I'll say something, they're like, whoa, wait a minute, back up. Did you just say you can give better head than any girl in here? I'm like, yep. They're like,
Yeah, because I
so
know
you've
what they
been
like.
yeah. They're like, "So you've been with a man?" I'm like, "Yep." They're like, "But I thought you said." I'm like, "You thought I said what? That I only like women?" I'm like, "You're right, I do." I'm like, "That doesn't mean I don't know how to have fun." They're
Yeah.
like, "Oh."
Fun,
So, and that's when they
sexual.
start.
Fun,
That's when they start
sexual.
trying to label you. They're like, "So what are you?" I'm like, "I'm just me,
Yep.
just me."
I love it. I love it. I think that's such like, if anyone can take anything away from this podcast today, I think that that would be it.
Yep. Be
I
yourself
love that.
and be
So
unapologetic to yourself.
I'm going to link all your social media to everyone. What can everyone expect from you in the next year?
I don't know. Hopefully, more public speaking. Hopefully, everybody wants me to start my own podcast,
I think you
so
should.
hopefully we can get that going.
I got
I
all the tips and tricks for you.
Great, because I don't know a damn thing about running a
I
podcast.
got you, girl. I got you. I got you. It's
No,
not
no.
fancy, but I'll show you what I do.
Hopefully within the next year, we'll have the Adam's apple shaved down, so trachea shaved, which will be nice. And hopefully within the next year, my voice will be better. And like my girlfriend and I were just looking at pictures of my face from like when we first met in, uh, I think she said September. And like we have a picture of me and my truck smiling side by side. My jaw is like out here. And it's just like, "Oh my god, look at that." I'm like, and she's like, "You look so different even from the day I met you." And like even my surgeon was like, "Your face is gonna like continue to change like with the hormones and with the healing." So like hopefully more and more feminine look, and more feminine
Yeah,
sounding.
I love
So
that.
that's about all I can say for the next year, hopefully.
I love it. I love it. This has been amazing. Don't hang up when I press stop. I just need you to know because we got to something
Yep.
has to happen before that.
Yep.
but I just want to thank you so much for coming on. It's a newer podcast, so I know a lot of creators have been like, they just actually normally don't respond to me because it's such a new show. So thank you so much for spending all this time with me and sharing so much of yourself with us today. Because I think, like I said, your message is powerful. I think you're going to do beautiful things, and I think that the world needs more people like you.
Thank you so much. That's really sweet.
Well, you're so welcome. Everybody, thank you so much if you made it to the end. We really appreciate it. And message us and let us know what you think. We always want to hear from you. I know my guests want to hear from you and just what do you think? What do you have to say? I will link all of your social media below. And until next time, guys, thank you for tuning in.